Y'all listen to the Express Truth Show with my man Mark Hamilton. So stay locked in, is it?
Ha ha! Big Stigs. You're locked into the Express Truth Show. Yeah? Keep it locked. Rah!
Yo, squad, is your diva, Riva, Riva. You're locked into Express Truth. The truth can only be one, and one is all. So listen to the truth, understand the truth, and then add your truth.
Yes, people, we're back in the building, man. It's the Express Truth Show, and we're gonna get into some real discussion tonight, man. I hope everyone out there is doing good. Yeah, man, we just come back from the cinema, you know. It's a long story, man. We're gonna get into everything tonight, man. Right before we get into it, Stephen, coming through. Big up Logitech, man. Big up Yeti Blue, Logitech. Stephen, let me hear how you sound, man.
Yo, Express Truth, man. Blue Story Madness, Logitech, Blue Yeti. What we saying, man? Express Truth business, fam. How me sound?
Yeah, man, you sounding crispy, fam. You sounding real crispy. So, all right, let's get into. Matter of fact, straight away, yeah. What I want to say before we even get into why everyone's here, yeah, is first of all, shout out Rapman, yeah, because we all seen the come up.
Yeah, of course, fam.
See what I'm saying?
Have to applaud that, fam. Anytime I see our brother doing successfully, I have to applaud that, man.
We all seen the come up. We all seen Rapman's come up, yeah. Man's come from we seen his Shiro story thing take off. See what I'm saying? Yeah, come with it, man. Come with that, please. Thank you. Yeah, so we all seen Rapman's come up, and we seen him go from doing his thing on YouTube to he's now got a movie. And you see, when I see things like come ups like that, all I can do is applaud it. So we decided that we'll watch the film, and we've came back from that now. Literally, the original part of the story is we were meant to watch it in Star City. For the Brummies, you know what that is, View. So we were meant to watch it in Star City today at 4:00. No, 6:00.
6:00.
And they locked it off anyway. Views locked it off because of the scenes that we've all seen, which we'll get into, but we're gonna get into that in a minute. So anyway, we had to end up going to Broadway Plaza. It was a sold out screen, and I'm gonna say it was a decent film. There was zero glorification of gang crime. It was basically more of the same, and I'm bigging up Rapman, but I'm just saying now, for us now, I think we've reached the end of the line with road films. Now,
Like, I think it's time to tackle a new genre, man.
yeah, I think a great mind like Rapman, who's a storyteller, we're on a stage now. We're at the stage now where I think we can tackle different stories now, because I think that the powers that be like us making films like this, because when things like this happen, they can just ban them. We need to start getting into different genres, because yes, we all know that things are happening on the road, and there's people are on the road, and people are doing this and people are doing that.
It's just one aspect of life, though, isn't it?
It's only I'd say it's probably 20%, and that's even at a stretch of.
I don't think it's that much, but I hear you though.
You see where I'm coming from? So that's the first thing that I'll say. Stephen, talk to me, man. Warm up the place. We're gonna open the phone lines.
Like what I'm saying, innit? Rapman, big up yourself every time. It's a decent film, man. Like, it's based on one of his short movies, you could call it, that he already did on YouTube of the same name. Obviously, there's a few subtle changes here and there, but for the most part, it's the same project. But for those that don't know, man, just put Rapman in on YouTube. You'll see some of his other stuff, man. He doesn't just do road stuff. He's done domestic abuse. He's done relationships and cheating. He's done Man Having Illness and Coming Back from Illness. So like, he's clearly a talented brother, man, and he has a strong imagination. So any genre or any narrative he wants to turn his mind to, he can easily do that, man. Hopefully he does that next. Like, we had all the backlash and I had all the madness in Birmingham with the Star City thing, and then Views gone on to take it out of all their cinemas altogether. Obviously, we're gonna get into that further, as Mark said, whether that was the right decision or not. But yeah, man, the film's not bad, man. The film's not bad.
You know what it is? I'm gonna tell you the truth. View didn't really want the film in the first place, because when films like this come out, let's be honest, like, these road films attract like a lot of hype youths, and let's be real. Let's just address the elephant in the room, because this is the express truth, and we keep it 1000% real. With all due respect to every nationality out there, it wasn't black youths that created this disturbance. It wasn't. Let's be honest. It wasn't black youths that created this disturbance. But you got to look into the mind of an individual who travels to the cinema with a machete anyway. He's already lost. The film had nothing to do with it. But I feel like they were looking for an excuse to stop Rapman's film from being what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Honestly, we believe that. Because, yeah, they shot it off quick because people were like, oh, yeah, it's because of the film, But it's like, people, you know what it is? Because unless you've seen the film, like we said, you're gonna make the correlation that the two things are related when they're not related, man, because he's not glorifying it at all. He's giving you a picture and a dramatization of what happens on the road. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't get it twisted. It wasn't putting roads in a good light or anything, because for those who haven't seen the film, I urge you to go and see it. It ends horribly, you know. And when I say that, I mean, like, there's no happy ending for anyone. No one retires in the hills. No one's chilling in the yard like Uncle Phil. You get me? No one's in a mansion and that. It ends with a mazza. Man are doing big birds. Man are sitting in pen. You get me? All kind of mad stuff.
You know what it is? Like, you know what it is, people? Like, I'm tired of the same old films now. Like, I think that we need to tap into our different parts of the journey of life. Like, the road thing it's played out now, and I don't really want to come on here and like, because Rapman has definitely been given a golden opportunity to start telling stories, but I just think kidhood, the phone lines ain't open yet, people. Not just yet. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so sorry, yeah, we soon opened them up. Sorry, caller, I didn't even know I answered that.
Yeah, they soon come, man.
So what I'm saying is this, like, I think we're shortchanging ourselves by only making films about the road. The road, we know that crime happens and we know there's gangs, but it's such 100. A small, we don't need to know any more about this gang thing and what's going on in gangs and how it starts and it's never ending. Like, let's start telling some different stories about a man going to uni and all that and then struggling to find a job from the course he did. Let's start talking about relationships. You get what I'm saying? Let's start telling some fantasy stories to her. You get what I mean? Like, we need to start changing the narrative
hot right now, you know.
These companies don't want to screen these films. Like, we're gonna address it properly. One set of Asian youths, and like I said, big up every nationality, but one set of Asian youths start a little drama in Star City in small Star City in Nechells, Birmingham, yeah? And that gets a man's film banned from all of the other View cinemas. Now, to me, that's unfair, because if it was Avengers and a man went into to watch Avengers and some war kicked off, would they ban Avengers? Like, I think they're making a mockery of black film by banning that. I feel like
you want to hear it, fam? You want to hear it? Sorry to interrupt you. You want to hear something mad though? If you're talking about Star City, yeah. Star City, so that's Star City at View. they show all the Bollywood films, you know.
Ownership, fam.
You get me? They show all the Bollywood films. So if you're trying to say if it was a certain community, all right, proper. If you're trying to say it was a certain community and they've kicked off on it, how come they didn't ban all the Bollywood things then, innit? Like I said, they've made the correlation to the Rapman thing because they're assuming it's another road thing, it's another negativity, killing and killing and killing and killing. They get me sort of taken out of the film. Because obviously, what do you think they were going to do? You think they were going to take Frozen 2 out of the cinema? They ain't going to take that out, fam.
Listen, it wasn't even the Rapman's thing. If I was him right now, I'd be so vexed. Anyone who knows Rapman, send him this link, people. Anyone who's on the gram, DM him. Let's let Rapman shout us and talk. Let's talk about it, because what I'm saying is this: you make a film, yeah, that you're showing people the reality, which we're gonna get back into that when we open the lines. I'm sure the callers are gonna want to speak about it as well. You make a film talking about the roads and how you should stay off the roads and the reality of the roads. Okay, we know that. A group of youths, not black youths, a group of Asian youths, go to the cinema and end up warring each other, and your film gets banned from all other. To me, that shows that they wanted to ban that film anyway. They didn't really want to do business with you anyway, because they don't really want that crowd there.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real. They don't really want that crowd in their venues.
But you know what it is? It's hold on, let me get that guy's name. Timothy Richards, yeah. Apparently he's the alleged owner of View Cinemas. And they're trying to say that it's a racism thing. And like obviously we're gonna let the callers come in and have their 2 cents as well, man. Like, is it actually a racism thing, or do you think he was just making a boss move, fam? He's just saying, you know what, just take the film out, man. Because if it's attracting those kind of people, it's bad for business, fam. Because you got to remember, a lot of the people who are up Star City, you know, a lot of the time it's younger kids and families up there, you know.
It was some little kids that started that beef. And I'm being real with you, like, that has nothing to do with the community. It has nothing to do with Rapman. You make a film and you put it out, that's down to the cinema to have, well, a cinema don't really need security looking out for people with
don't need security, but remember we just went to see it at Broadway and they had police presence there, fam.
Because what do they think's going to happen? Because these films, these stories of road and all that attract. I'm not saying it attracts road people, because road people are going to take the film in and enjoy it. It's attracting like hype youths from all communities.
Yeah.
So
obviously, remember we had this similar issue in it. Because remember we had One Day, which was like probably one of the biggest Brom things to date. And obviously, like didn't that totally get banned at all in Birmingham? That got banned altogether. They didn't even get a chance to have anything kick off. They just locked it off in it.
I've said it's they're shortchanging. I'm saying it's they're shortchanging black filmmakers, black directors. You're shortchanging our lives basically by only telling these stories.
Yeah, man. Don't put the shackles on yourself, man.
You get me? Like we've heard enough. I want to see what else we can do. And I seen someone in the chat talking about Jordan Peele. Let's talk about Black Britain for a minute. Allow the Jordan Peele thing for a minute. Let's talk about Black Britain. It's constantly like about every time we're on Good Morning Britain, we're talking about gangs and how we keep getting into gangs and things.
And knife crime and
yeah.
Them are right man name on chicken box and them thing there.
And it is a reality. It is a harsh reality that some of our youth are living like that. But when you really check it out,
Michael Jones, big up yourself, man. Carry on, fam.
When you really check it out, it's a small. It's not the majority. So how much of these stories are we going to tell? And then when we tell these stories, this is what happens. Okay. A gang of youths go in there. They carried machetes to the cinema. They didn't carry. You don't. A normal man don't carry a machete anywhere. Never mind you carrying it to the cinema.
But you know the maddest thing behind all of this. There's not. Well, I'd have to check now. I still don't believe there's been any full backstory on the whole situation, because from I heard it, I said, "Yo, so what's going on? Like, did someone have beef with someone? Because you wouldn't why would you randomly feel like it doesn't matter what film you're watching in it? Why would you feel you need to bring machete to the thing, fam? You get me? You rolling like your name's Samurai Jack or something, fam? Like, clearly you had beef and you knew you were gonna box someone there.
So
Or
basically,
maybe it was like a gang thing or something.
now I'm saying it could be a sabotage thing as well. Like them man there, them youths
Possible.
there, really them youths there, yeah, who done that, who's gone to the cinema with them kind of arms out there, yeah, really should be disciplined still, because they've stopped her brother from eating differently, because he's gonna lose about 40 screens now. They've gone in there, but what I'm saying is, you can be in war with a man. Suppose like Rapman had a competitor, you can just pay some youths to go and create a scene at one cinema, and your film gets banned in every single few cinemas. And now they're saying Odeon and Showcase are thinking about pulling it as well. To me, that's
If Odeon and Showcase pull it, that's just monkey see, monkey do. Because if you've had no cause to pull the film, then like someone's clearly pulling the strings behind the scenes.
yeah, it's true.
Because if nothing's gone on there, why you pulling the film for, G?
And then
Just let the man have his shine, man.
when you look at the actual, the news reports, they're basically reporting on it and saying, "Oh, it's a film about gang violence, something that Brum's been suffering with." What's that got to do with a group of youths who have gone to the cinema carrying machetes? These ain't no gang youths or nothing like that. It's idlers. Let's stop.
Fam, they always do that though. They always want to put one-on-one together and get five, blood. Anytime there's a big group of youths or whatever, or a big group of people and some violence goes, and it's always gang related, fam. Not everything's gang, and you're always talking about the history of the city, man. It's called history for a reason, fam. If you want to keep reliving it, put it on the History Channel, fam. Don't bring it up every 5 minutes in the paper every time something goes wrong, man.
So what you saying? And what if you was Rapman now? What's your next step? Talk to me, man.
If I was Rapman,
Like how would you deal with View Cinemas? Like, has he got a case to kind of?
Personally, I don't know if I'd take a legal route. Maybe because maybe he's got a leg to stand on in it. Because obviously he's got big backing now in it, The Rock and all of that. But I don't know which. Oh my god, I don't know which film company produced the film and thing. You get me? But the thing is, yeah, he could either put out a public statement trying to adjust View Cinema. I feel like he should put out some kind of statement anyway, whether he says, yo, like, we don't condone the actions that went on, rare. That's not what the film's about. That's not the message we're trying to put out there. But obviously, View, like, you've kind of, like, hurt your reputation now, fam. Because how many films, like, you can't be like, just because it's a black youth thing, and obviously it might be based in some form of reality, you want to pull the film. Because most films are violent, fam. No one pulled Joker, fam. And Joker's a Mazza, fam.
Yo, there was men who were dressed as the Joker. I'm sure there was drama when Joker opened, but the only reason we can't speak about Joker, because the drama that happened when Joker was showing was in America. You get what I mean? Even though mans were dressing as the Joker, they kept it peaceful. In England, we can't keep talking about Joker in we can't talk about like in England there was no drama when them films were going in. What I will say is when Endgame was showing, there was bits of trouble, but it wasn't no knife play or nothing like that. And they're not gonna pull. Let's be honest, they're not gonna pull a Marvel film. Do you see where I'm coming from? But like that's what I'm saying. Should Rapman take this as a sign to move away from this narrative of you've done Shiro's story now. We've seen a little bit about road and trapping, and we've seen that now. You get me? And we salute that. But should he take it as a sign now? Let's tell some different stories. Let's tell some different stories now. Should he take that as a sign now?
Yeah, I feel like he should move on anyway. And he's, like I said earlier, he's displayed the ability because he hasn't just done road stuff, man. Check his history in it. Check the back catalogue on the YouTube. He could bring something like that to the big screen. But then saying that, is it going to get the same reaction and the same attention? Like, people always say, nah, we got to move away from this and do some positive. But are you going to go and support the thing, fam? Like, there's one thing being a chatty patty, fam. Why are you going to put your hand in your pocket and support the brother when it's a positive thing, when it's nothing to do with
but you don't even... Now, you know what it is, though, yeah? Wait, call us. We're going to open it in 5 minutes. The phone line's going mad. 5 minutes, people. We just want to touch a couple more things. What I'm saying to you is, yeah, I'm not saying make some positive film about positiveness, but change
No. I'm
the
just
game.
mean when I say that, I mean like just something normal, fam. Non-road at all, just something normal.
Nat. There was, we just come from Broadway, which is just outside of town, and they had police at the cinema and 4 independent security people. Like, that's crazy. But the main reason, what I think with View, and I'll tell the truth, why View pulled this is because, and I know this to be a fact as well, there was one queue of people for Frozen, so you can imagine the what type of people are there for Frozen: fathers, mothers, children, like loads of children. Yo, we soon open it, people. Don't worry. So you got fathers, you got families, little kids, and then they had to witness these youths swinging machetes. You get what I mean? And like they had to witness that. So I think viewers said, "Yo, we ain't gonna miss the bigger bag by showing this film, this gang thing. Like how much gang films do we need?"
Yeah, I understand that, family, but the action have they gone overboard now though by pulling it from all of them? Maybe to just pull it from Brom or even just that one in Brom. Did you need to pull them from all of them?
Now, but did you even really need to pull it from Brom? Why can't they just arrest the people involved? You see what I mean? And then just make it run.
Because I'm hearing it was an army like 300, fam.
All right,
Like
all right,
Leonidas and his brethren were out there with them spears, fam.
all right. We're gonna open the phone. People phone in, man. Car, yo, you ain't letting us breathe, man. Phone lines are open. We
Man.
ask whatever what you want to ask. But the way I look at it is like this: Rapman, solid storyteller. Like I said, big fan of his work. But I just want to see a great mind like that move away from. It's just like with Intent 2. Here we go. You live on the Express Truth?
Yeah. When I watched Blue Story today,
What you reckon?
I don't know. I watched it. You know what I'm saying? It's glorifying violence or anything like that. But it wasn't a story like that. It was real and all that. But like some guy said, some 95 crew said it wasn't filmed in southeast. Said it was filmed in Enfield.
Yeah, because they weren't allowed to film violent scenes in South London, I believe.
Yeah, because I saw it on on the ITV morning video show. Whatever, I saw it on there. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Big up yourself, yeah?
Yeah, man. Big up.
Cool. Yeah,
Take
man.
care.
Cool. Yeah, man. You see the phone line, people. Give us a ring. Let us know what you think. Should we move away? Let's talk about it, man. If you've watched the film, phone in. If you want to talk about what happened in Brom.
Some people ain't listened in, so like try to keep the spoilers to a minimum. You get me? Not everyone's seeing it yet still.
Nah, but there's gonna be spoilers.
There's gonna be some spoilers, but they're gonna do their best.
You live on the Express Truth? Going once, going twice.
So
You live on the Express Truth? It's called as I don't know what's going on there, but yeah. So
yeah, carry on.
what you saying, and what do you reckon, though, Stephen, personally, before the callers start rolling back in, because it's non-stop on the eye?
What do I think? What do I think Rapman should do? Hold on, you know what it is? I don't know, man. Maybe it'd be nice to get a statement from. Oh, boy.
You live on the Express Truth? Yeah, call us. All right, let's get some order when you call. Yeah, turn down your computer or your phone, whatever you're listening to the show on, and just be ready to talk when we pick up the phone. Yeah. So what are you saying, Stephen? Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry. Maybe that Timothy brother, man, should put out an official statement, man. Because I don't think he said anything. They've just pulled it. Like they haven't issued in a statement or said, "Oh, rare tear." They've just pulled the film out of the cinema. You get me? And I feel like Rapman should definitely chime in, because that's a bit mad still. But maybe View done it on purpose, fam. Because remember, all press is good press, you know.
Not really, because View haven't actually said. They've just said the film's pulled and that's it.
Yeah, I know they ain't said nothing, but that's gonna get their name in the headlines, which it has, fam.
You live on the Express Truth.
Yeah,
Yo, Walgan. What do you think about this
Wagwan.
situation?
I feel like it's racism, bro.
Racism.
Yeah, bro, because it's like, come on, man. They've removed it from the entire city, bro.
Not
I've
just
not even watched the movie myself, but
not just the city, you know. They've removed it from all View cinemas in the UK. So that's
yeah, that's what I
yeah.
mean. All of them. Like, not even just like Birmingham itself, where the incident happened.
But you know what it is, because we got to play both sides of the fence. Do you think that if you're the owner of View Cinemas, do you want and I need to be respectful when I say this, do you want that crowd at your cinema while Frozen 2's being shown and people that
Yeah,
might...
I understand where you're coming from with that, of course, man. Like, you gotta look at the safety of the customers, etc. and that.
Because it's a machete, they pulled out 2 machetes. Machete, whatever, however we pronounce it.
I don't get it, me. I feel it's like it could be an inside thing, man. Just try and get Rapman down, bro.
Yeah, it did seem a bit weird, I ain't gonna lie.
Because it's like 300 plus kids with knives. Like,
This is what I'm
it
saying.
sounds unreal.
They've changed the story a few times. Like the
It
video.
sounds like the man's wanted to audition for the movie or something, blood.
Yeah, man. Anyway, big up. Yeah, thanks for the call.
Yeah. I just appreciate
Bless,
the
man,
coming
bless.
channel anyway, man. I thought you a call. Bless
Yeah,
up anyway, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
Respect,
yeah.
man, respect.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just read this out, fam.
Go
Because Rainbow Black just said Rapman dropped a statement. Right. Answer that and then I'll read it.
You live on the Express Truth?
Yeah, Wagwan.
Yo, Wagwan.
Yeah. Basically, I think there's many issues. This thing's multifaceted, fam. Like, on the number one issue to this thing is that Rapman has had an opportunity to blow, to bust. So he used the opportunity and he used the same old formula of the hood, glamorizing the hood. Now, some people are going to say, yeah, but it's a different factor. I haven't seen the movie, but there's certain aspects of that. Anybody can tell you that's a bang bang thing. You get me? It's glamorizing it in that. Like, we need a different narrative, a different story to come through. So that's the first thing, yeah? The second thing is the issue of power. Rapman, even though he's up there and he's in the videos or he's in the cinemas and things like that, obviously structurally, he doesn't have the same power as a Universal or whatever, or this or this, for them to actually say, you know what, this has happened, but we're not going to pull the video. We're going to leave the film there. I swear, a few years ago, when the what's that Batman with the Joker? When that Joker Batman.
It was the one with Bane. The one with Bane.
Yeah. Basically, someone dressed up as a Joker in America and killed people in the cinema. You see what I'm saying?
And they didn't pull it.
No one pulled the film then. Obviously, you don't expect Rapman to have that type of power or whatever, but at least, fam, he needs to come with a different narrative. I'm sorry, but youths are influenced by what you put out there. You done a show with Craig, yeah, and he kind of broke down this, like the influence of music, the influence of this, the influence of certain genres on our own, like, youths and the culture of our youths, and that's just showing it there, like 300 youths. Furthermore, most of those youths weren't even black youths, you know.
No. It was Asian youths, but let's clear up one thing, because Star City's man's ground stomping ground. That's where we was gonna go. There weren't no 300 youths. It was something like 50, but they're gonna gas it more and say 300. Imagine 300 youths with knives. What's that? Some Anglo-Saxon thing.
What I'm saying, fam. Like, it's a bit long, but if that can do that to Asian youths, what more, like, black youths that look like the actors, that speak like the actors, that have gone through what the actors have gone through? That man should have been real and said, you know what, we need to try to, I need to get through in that, but man needs to change up the narrative, you get me? Because even the council said, nah, you can't even do it round here because there's been youths around here that have been stabbed and things like that. So Rapman should have said, you know what, yeah, I know I need to bust, but real talk, like, this is too close to home. This is too close for the bone. You get me? So if it's doing that to Asian youths, what about like black youths with like not weak minds but young minds and things like that? We know what music can do. I'm not saying that the film's not a good film or it's a bad film or whatever. He's a very talented guy. We know this, yeah? But, dog, use your talent for the community, man. Inspire the youths, them.
Yeah, it's the
Change
same
it
old
up a
story.
little bit. We've seen Intent 1, we've seen Intent 2. Come on, man.
It's the same old
Come on,
stories.
man.
It's the same old stories. I
Real
completely
talk.
agree
Come
with
on,
you.
man.
Even
See what I'm saying?
why can't we touch some fantasy stuff? Like, I was saying this to my cousin today.
Fantasy stuff,
Like, why
some
can't we make some
next level
fantasy stuff? Even make a film about man teeth in cars, a gun in 60 seconds type thing.
See what I'm saying? And you know the joke thing is, yeah, the realest thing out there, the third point I want to bring up is that there are black people who are talented, just as Rapman, doing that, but they don't get funded. They don't get funded. They don't get to get put on GMTV and all that. It's only a certain narrative that gets pushed. Why is that? Because you can see the effects that it brings. You get me? And if you see what I'm saying? You can see the effects it brings, man. It's
But
more
you know
like
what?
a
I'm
thing,
gonna
man.
say one thing in Rapman's defense, yeah, and one chat let us know. I think that when Rapman might have sat down in the meeting and he knows that his first film has to have some success to be able to gain more funding from these people, he's probably thinking, well, that's what works. Like the Scream was sold out that we was in.
Family, you know what it is. I hear what you're saying, but you know what? You gotta remember at the end of the day, you know, Rapman's blowing, he's doing his thing, but he's still just an employee, fam. Because he's not putting up the capital himself, innit? He needs these studios and these production companies to back him, fam. So they probably told him which film he has to push out there, fam. He probably never had a choice, fam. For all we know, he could have been there trying to pitch a black love story or something, fam. And they're like, nah, fam, they ain't gonna do the numbers. Remember, he's blown off the back of the Shiro story thing. Not saying that's glorifying Road either, but that's the same kind of thing. It's like Road with a twist. He's blown off the back of that. So whoever's seen him blown and wants to recruit him to do films might want to keep that same kind of narrative and flavor going, fam, on the big screen.
Do you know who I was so disappointed in? You know, who's that SBTV guy again?
Jamal Edwards.
Yeah, because if you look at SBTV, he's even got some mad program on, yeah, about shanking mans and
that drilling.
like that. That really though. Come on though. If you know people that have lost people to that, and you go and watch that, you're thinking, raw, like.
Yeah,
you
but
really need to
if
push
you ain't
that
watched that, you
narrative
need to watch that, you know.
so
That
deep.
proper glorifies the violence, fam.
Come on, man. And like what? For your own wealth, for you to blow, you're gonna just discard all the young black minds or the young impressionable minds. Come on, man. Need to. This is the thing, yeah. Like there needs to be some accountability and some responsibility attached to your success. I'm sorry, but that's the way it goes. Rapman, yeah, you've blown, but you need to know that you blowing, because of the state of your community at the moment, people are going to look up to you and people are going to look up to what you put out there. So you have to come a little bit correct, dog. You can't just let it out like that. You get me? So
but the thing is, I watched the film, yeah. The film's decent. It's a decent film, but we need to stop talking. When we go on these Good Morning Britons and these shows, we need to stop talking like the youth are forced into this thing. Like a lot of it's by choice as well. And it shows that in this. He shows that in this. And I'm not giving away the film, but there's a scene where there's a link up a film and a video for a load of youths. And when they're filming the video, the guy who's rapping says, yo, film the real G's. And when they turn around the camera, they're like, why are you filming us for? We're the real G's. You lot ain't even living like that. You lot ain't living this life. So that shows you that not everyone's out there living like that. So why do we keep selling this thing as though
You know what I'm saying?
we're all just out there in gangs stabbing and doing all that because it's making us look crazy. And then they're trying to push what happened in Star City they're trying to push that onto us. You get what I'm saying? Like, a load of youths done that, and then it's like, if you're someone who's not in the inner city, you're gonna be thinking, wow, these guys, they actually get a chance to tell their story, and they still misbehave. But it's not that. It's all kind of youth now that are in these films buying into this lifestyle. Even though, let me reiterate, Rapman didn't promote violence. He didn't, because at the end it was a real sad ending. But like I'm saying, it's the story. It's just one story out of thousands that we go through in our community, and we need to start telling other stories.
Different stories, dog. There's very different stories. You get me? Like, just bare, like, successful stories. There's bare young black men, young men of different ethnicities winning. You get me? From being a plumber or being a footballer or even going into property, winning, or even look at you guys starting a podcast and doing your thing. But that narrative never gets pushed. And you have to start asking yourself, why doesn't it get pushed?
Because sex sells, man.
Somebody's winning from that
And
other narrative.
it's the same. It's the same visuals. I'm fed up of seeing. Yes, Craig picked me. What's going on? I'm fed up of seeing the same vision of like black girls getting killed and caught up in this. Like, it's starting to just become depressing, man. But obviously, I wanted to support the cause because you want him to make his money and get money to make more films. But I think I'm personally done with the road films. I'm saying that publicly. I'm done with it. I don't want to watch no more. I actually don't care to know any more about this gang. I want to know something else. Show me somebody else who's done something positive or who's done something else. Like, it's the same old story, man. We probably made 15 British films about the same thing.
There we go. From Intent to this, to Bullet Boy, to that SBTV thing. It's all the same narrative. And what I will say is that you can see that, like, yeah, obviously with success.
Hello.
Yeah, 152. 152.
Yeah, it's Craig Pinkney speaking.
Craig, what's going on, man?
Same family, all right.
Yeah, but what you saying?
Just literally to come out of the cinema watching the film.
What's your what do you reckon then?
About it, man?
What do you reckon, honestly?
I thought the film from a British filmmaker was excellent. He depicted a series of worlds, of which if people occupy those worlds would fully understand the perspective. So he captured a world which happens with a lot of kids that I work with inside the schools, where they're not necessarily involved in crime, not necessarily repping a postcode, but are conflicted because they live in a particular postcode. Secondly, you've got young people that have relatives that are involved in madness and try to draw them out and draw them in. And then it showed another world of the road life. So for me, when people kind of had this argument about glamorizing, I personally didn't see any glamorizing of gang culture. When people kind of keep making this argument.
You got poor signal or something?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
No, I'm saying that when we keep talking about this glamorization of violence, I think it's important that we understand the narrative. Like, for example, we could have a conversation and talking about the road, and someone can say, well, we're glamorizing it because we're still talking about it. We have to still document what the experience is. And I don't think that I think it's unfair that the whole community put pressure on one person for him to depict everything that we want him to talk about. It's kind of like the same work that we do, Mark. You know, Everybody wants you to talk about everything, but you can't. You only can talk about one thing and do one thing good. Now, I would say give him a chance from this one particular film that he's done, following from the Shiro story. He then amalgamates that into something else. He didn't just talk about gang violence. He didn't talk about the road. He spoke about how young people get caught up. He also spoke about, I also captured parents that clearly don't have a clue about what their children do. He also showed how young women get caught up in scenarios that not necessarily they want to be involved in certain types of things. So there were so many layers that I think that he captured, which I thought was a brilliant job.
You know what it is though, Craig. What I will say, the film itself was decent. I ain't gonna say it was. I think it was decent, but what I'm saying is, it's even though this goes on, it's still only it's still not the majority of what happens in our communities. Like, how much films are we gonna make? Like that, we're going through so much different things in our day-to-day lives, and I'm not putting pressure on Rapman. I'm saying this. I'm saying this to all directors.
No, I agree, but I said that for me that's the problem again, because we kind of want everything at once, and I'm not suggesting that we as brothers and sisters in the community that become filmmakers and directors that we shouldn't just keep talking about the same type of thing. But I'm going to say again, it depends what you was looking at. I didn't see a gang member film. I seen a film that spoke about a range of things. So when I go to a school tomorrow, guess what? I'm going to be talking about Blue Story. I'm going to be talking about gangs and violence and whatnot. Maybe what I am going to be talking about is the choices that unfortunately young people are forced into. And that stuff we can't deny. So if somebody gives light into that situation, you know what? A lot of people hear these things and watch these documentaries. And if I was to ask them, do you know that young people go to school and they're frightened to go home because someone might say that they're from another end? And someone might be like, you know what, I didn't know that happened. So I'm saying again, these little films give people opportunities to give light to a social reality that many of our young people face. And again, it's not for everybody, but it's a piece of a story. So then what it might also do is inspire other filmmakers to say, you know what, I want to also make films. I also want to make documentaries, but I don't want to talk about that. I want to also talk about this.
But Craig, what Craig, what I'm saying, yeah, we've just had Top Boy, we've just had Intent 2, and now we've had Shiro Story and we've got Blue Story. How much times do we need to be understanding about what we've seen that now? No, I'm not saying don't make films like that, but it's becoming where all these films are about that road and gangs and man selling things on road, and I'm just saying let's change.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think we just share a different perspective.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is that we continue having the conversation and documenting our social reality as long as that we have the societal problems that we do. So just like I'm going to go to a school tomorrow and still talk about choices in relation to young people joining the wrong things that we want them to do in society, I'm going to continue having that conversation until we start to see some significant changes. But it's all about perspective, and I'm not saying that you're wrong, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't only document those things, but all I'm saying is it gives light to a reality that many of us refuse to talk about and refuse to connect to.
But Craig, what about the other reality of, I don't know, a Nigerian immigrant coming to this country and winning?
Yes.
And doing something like that? He's going to be looking at the screen and saying, well, where's my reflection? Where's my story? Yo,
of course.
See what I'm saying?
And I'll say again, I'm not disagreeing with the point.
What about man's getting deported? Like, look how much man. Like, even the other day with that young artist, who got deported back to Jamaica with no resources or anything. That's a film right there.
Of course.
What about all these child hate crimes where certain communities are calling their children witches and subjecting them to violence and all of that? These are things I didn't even know about till the other day. Where's the film about that? It's not only these gangs that are damaging the community. There's a lot of things damaging us that can be documented. And what it is, like I said, I don't want to just make this about Rapman because there's a lot of films.
But this is what it's becoming, and again, it's a narrative that we all keep doing. And I'm not saying that no one's wrong. You or the next brother that's speaking. I'm not saying that you're wrong. But what I'm saying is that you have to also still appreciate a reality that does exist. Now, if someone talks about that reality, what we can't do and what we must stop doing as a community is attacking that person and then dictating or suggesting that that person should talk about other things. That's all my position is. I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong. I'm saying we're all right looking at the same thing from different lenses. That's all my position is.
So, before you go, one last question, yeah?
Yes.
What happened in Star City yesterday, yeah?
Yes.
If that was a film about a man winning the lottery about a black man who hit six numbers on the lottery and won, or even hit the Euro Millions, and the film shows how he spent his next 3 months. Yeah?
Yes.
If that was a film about that, would the film have been pulled from all view cinemas?
No, but again, these are the issues. These are wider issues, got nothing to do with Blue Story. You got to bear in mind that from the beginning of this young brother trying to start this film, that the police wanted to block it and the council wanted to block it in the first place. All they used was this particular incident that existed in Star City as a platform in order to shut it down. And I knew they were going to try and do it I could have told you this was going to try and happen weeks ago. They were going to try and shut it down. Because from what my understanding was, and I had the people that were in there, Frozen was on, and then to do with Blue Story. But again, young people that engage in violent behavior, anything that they do will always be used as a tool to blame something else. Now, I'm not saying that Blue Story was the reason for the issue, not at all. But what I am saying is that the issues that exist in our community, that any time that there's going to be any type of progression, to give people opportunities, because there's that, we all should talk about that as well, the opportunities that these young people are getting from acting and getting recognized and noticed in the world sphere of, as it relates to cinema, photography, film, acting, and what else. So there's so many other elements that we could sit and argue and talk about, but I'm saying there's loads of opportunities that are coming out. It shouldn't be that many of our actors within this country have to go to Hollywood in order to get seen in their own country. I've seen some very talented individuals, and if we go back to, I would say more so Top Boy as opposed to Intent 2, but Top Boy in particular, loads of individuals that were in there that are now starting to get recognized and getting opportunities, different opportunities and whatnot. And I think even if you just look at London, we from Birmingham, there's many talented people. I'm sure I spotted T1 in there as well. But this is my point. Opportunity comes from sometimes these things. So for me, I don't always just look at things as such as a negative and look at it in a silo. I think of what is the bigger picture. And if the bigger picture means that there's going to be many young people that start in this, that get new opportunities and can provide for their families, in turn, many of them do stuff within their communities and help the youth, go into schools, help the wider community, then I'm going to be like, you know what, maybe this was a good thing.
Yeah, man. Respect. Wait, go on. Go on.
Yeah,
We can agree to disagree, bro. There's we can't always agree on everything. I'm agreeing with what you're saying.
By all means, obviously it's a platform of discussion, isn't it? So what I'm just saying, though, I agree with what you're saying, but don't you feel like those opportunities are only given if you play this card, and the card is,
bro, let's also be real as well. Sometimes in the wider sphere of things, that sometimes you need to take certain opportunities to get to somewhere else. As long as you're not damaging your community, as long as you're not selling out, I would always be on the side of a young person that says, you know what, I'm going to do this to get to there. As long as it's positive, and nothing that I've seen was negative.
Well, it's all about what happens next. But yeah, man, thanks for calling in.
No worries, King.
Yeah,
Family, look after yourself, yeah?
Yeah, man. Peace.
Cool.
What I'm saying now is this. What I'm saying is this. There's a film, what they're releasing now, called Queen and Slim in the States. And it's basically about a black man and a black woman who meet each other for a date on the first night. And on their journey, a police stops them. But the police is a racial police who a racist police, should I say. And they end up killing this man. And then they're on the run. But there's a lot of different, because I ain't going to put no spoilers out. There's a lot of different messages in that film and hidden, like messages that speak to African Americans, I'd say. And I'm just saying we need to start getting creative with it. So I'm not in any way slandering the work, because it's a very, when you're talking from a cinema, if we're talking about 417, is that you in the background? Yeah, when we're talking about the cinematography, however you pronounce it, yeah, and you're talking about the acting and all that, yeah, top quality. I'm just on about the story. Let's
switch the swag a bit, innit?
Yeah, let's just change the story. That's all That's all. That's the point where I'm coming from. What are you saying, Stephen?
Just switch the swag a bit, man. Just switch the swag a bit. Obviously, like we said, we can't all come down on Rapman, no homo, and blame my man for the whole situation, because although you see his name on the poster and written, directed, and all of that, behind the scenes, you don't know how much power he actually has. You get me?
That's true.
Like a lot of the time, his name might be on the tin, but he might not have full creative control like that. You get me? To make big executive decisions, because remember, he's not funding it, innit? And obviously, we see it as a form of entertainment and something that could be seen as good for the culture and documenting what goes on in certain people's lives and on the streets, and it's a daily struggle for certain people. But you gotta remember, at the end of the day, if it don't make money, like, they're not gonna back it, innit? Because they're not backing it because they believe in they may believe in his story, but they're not backing it just for the love of rap, man. They're backing it because it's an investment to these people, fam. So you gotta remember, at the end of the day, if it don't make dollars, it ain't gonna make sense to them, fam. Even though we're not in America.
Nah, that's true. But I'm saying, like, in the day and age that we're in today, anyway, we don't have to run down investment for films anymore. We know we don't need. You can. It's about ownership now. So you can, like, we keep making out as though. Wait, let's take this on the call. 850, you're live on the Express Truth.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, brother. How you doing?
Yeah, we're doing fine, mate.
Yeah,
What
man,
do you
big
think
up.
about this situation?
Yeah, basically, I haven't seen the movie to begin with, but my whole thing with View banning the film unless in the cinemas, I think that's like some sort of conspiracy, man, to somehow sabotage their numbers.
So you think that View have done it to sabotage the numbers of the overall film?
Yeah, like, you know, like how every movie get like their is it View rating or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm sure like by banning the movie, that's just obviously going to reduce or just somehow like prevent them from getting them like their credit, because I'm sure like if they wouldn't have done that, then they would have done a lot of numbers, you know?
Yeah, it's a
of
big
course,
market.
Like Rapman, he's got a solid fan base based on his Shara Story success. So I felt like he would have definitely brought that and used that to his advantage to somehow like generate a lot of numbers. But because of this whole incident, that would have prevented that, you see?
I definitely agree with that. There definitely was harsh to ban it in all View screens. That was very harsh, but it goes back to the same thing again, because I've got to lay it out for both sides. If I own View Cinema and we've got one of the biggest films of the year what's opened in the same week, which is Frozen 2. So there's so much different families and stuff visiting these screens, but then you got this other film that's attracting gangs of youth. Like, you know what I mean? How do you risk it happening again? Do you risk someone actually getting killed at one of your screens, or do you pull it? I'm not saying it's fair to pull it, but it's like, why?
From a corporate decision, they've just chosen to pull it, innit?
And let's just squash the rumors. No one's carrying machetes to watch Frozen.
Okay,
yeah.
But let me ask you this. When GTA came out and there was a lot of madnesses going on, did they ban the game?
No, because they didn't. But what it is they couldn't directly find a relation between what was going on and the game, because that's an angle that I looked at as well. They couldn't say that crime happened because that person played GTA. They couldn't say that. You see where I'm coming from? Although I understand your point, they couldn't say that happened. But what they can say is, well, these gangs of youth that are carrying machetes to a screening are going there to watch that film. They're going there to watch that film. So if we pull that film, we get rid of those youth. And remember, Odeon are probably right now as we speak.
In a
Odeon.
way, that doesn't make sense because
Go on.
that you see where the movie was done, or the whole location, right? That would have just been the gang's ulterior plan to meet there. So it would have been, regardless of the movie, it could have been another movie. Do you understand? It could have been Batman, but just because of that day and the momentum of that day and the time, that's what it called for all those people to do all of that madness. So I don't think the movie has anything really to do with it. I don't think it's the main point.
No,
or the matter.
I agree with Caller. I agree with you completely. Like, the film is not the reason they went there. With the film's not the reason they're carrying machetes, but they've gone there with machetes to watch the film. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
So what viewer probably saying is, do we leave the film playing and a man now gets killed next time? And now it says, because the headline says, machete fight in View cinemas. That's what it says. You only see the name of the film when you start to read the article. So they're probably looking at it and saying, people that are going to watch, if you're a middle-aged man now and you're going to take your 3 kids to watch Frozen, you look at the headline of a paper and see that a load of machetes was in View cinemas, you might say, you know what, well, we'll go Showcase instead. Now, people might say, oh, that's not the case, but that could be a couple £100,000 in money that they're losing. So he's had to make that executive decision. Do I agree? No. Is it devastating? Of course, because Rapman's clearly put his work in. But all my point is let's change the narrative a bit, or let's hide messages in films like what these other people do. So let's package it as something else. And if we need to hide a message in a film, let's do it. But we can't keep the same, yeah, man, this man was in a gang and yeah, this and this girl got killed. It's a very small part of what happens in the community. And I'm not going to...
On that note, I definitely agree with you. But I think at the same time, the way how the UK works, we have this mentality where we don't, if it's not broken, then there's no point of fixing it, you see? So I feel like if something works, then everyone's just going to keep applying the same formula. And also, like, Britain is not really so multicultural like America is. So we can't really start, like, doing those kind of movies because if you notice, UK, we lack a lot of comedy movies. We don't really have any comedy movies. Most movies are either drama or action movies. So I don't think like we're that multicultural enough to start making those kind of movies where we're touching different cultures and different ethnics because I don't know. It's like we haven't introduced that sort of no one started that blueprint yet. So yeah, I think that's just where it is.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the call, though, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What I'm saying, I understand what the caller's saying, you know, but I'm saying we've got, there's loads of different stories, loads that we can tell, loads that will work too. Like, I don't believe that we only want to see violence, or we only want to see gang related stuff. 474.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, man, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, man. I just want to point out, as far as like it being banned, I think that's a straight attack on the movie, still all the culture of the race, isn't it?
Yeah.
But as far as the movie goes, yeah, like you said, yeah, I didn't want to bother watching it because it's like the same old. Like when he says, "Oh, this is about man on the road," I want people to see what's going on. People know what's going on. You get me? If you're just gonna say, "Oh, this is a film and it's just straight entertainment purposes," then that's cool. But I think saying, "Oh, we want people to see what's going on the road," that's all played out now, man. You get me?
Played out completely. I agree with that. Completely.
And the kids now, yeah, they haven't got the attached emotion to these things, so they might watch something and then be influenced by it. Yeah, it's like man watching the Narcos or something, and then saying, "Oh, Like, I want to be a trapper. I want to sell drugs. You get me?
And even with Narcos, what I'm saying is, even with Narcos, it showed every aspect of his life. You rarely seen the coke deals in Narcos.
Yeah.
You seen a lot of violence still towards the end, but it was mainly like it showed like a different parts of his life, like relationships with his kids and this and that. And I understand that there's a lot going on the road, but it's a very small part of us. And I'm just saying, we got different stories, man. Look how much lottery winners we've got here, black lottery winners in Britain. Like, I want to see what they're doing with the money. There's lottery winners that have won and gone broke. I want to see that story.
Yeah, but that's just banning it though. That's a bit harsh, man. Because there's gonna be places where it's mostly white people, and that probably ain't gonna happen there. You get me? So it's ruined it for that as well. But if there was how many kids coming with knives, that's just straight stupid. You know what I'm saying?
That was something that obviously happened out. That was a beef that was probably built up outside of the movie, but they've penalised the film. It definitely was harsh. It was definitely harsh.
When adulthood come out, man, I'm sure the same thing happened as well. So I'm involved in it. I'm sure cinema's over here. Yeah, something happened as well in the cinema. You get me? They're trying. I can go to the cinema to watch any film. I'm book into someone I got beef with, and you can go off, and it ain't necessarily the film. It's not to do with the film. It's just set people going there.
Exactly.
You know what? At the end of the day, yeah, if mans want to meet up and kill each other, fam, just go do it somewhere where no one's gonna see you, bud. Stop doing it at public events, man. On places where families and little kids are gonna be. And
the kids
you're just ruining everything for everyone else, man.
Yeah, definitely. What kids do, and these kids on the road, man, they're carrying knives for all types of reasons. You get me? I remember, just because you're carrying a knife, doesn't mean you got the heart to use it. Doesn't mean, some kids are generally using it because they're scared or they've got beef with someone who's carrying a knife. There's a lot of reasons, and these movies and on the music and that, they don't talk about. It's like when the hustling, people sell drugs and you start making money like this. It ain't even that simple. Sometimes it's hard, It's not always, especially working for yourself as well. You don't want to start selling drugs and you're making all this money. There's a lot more to it.
Yeah, that's a fake. It's fake news. Like they make out like you just meet some connect. Man hits you up with something and you reach the following week. Like it's just not real. It's probably harder than it's probably hard. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you work with somebody else, it's different, but doing it yourself, bro, it's not that simple, man. You got loads of competition. People don't want to buy with you and that.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the call, yeah?
Thing, though, man.
Big up, man. Big up.
I think it's important we talk and have the conversations, you get me?
Most definitely.
But people need to focus on the facts and not let too much emotion get involved, man. I think that's what the problem is.
Yeah, that's true, but it's definitely, I agree it was harsh, but thanks for the call, though, yeah?
Yeah, man. Keep it up, though, man, yeah?
Yeah, man. Cool.
Big up, man.
034.
Anyone else want to call in?
034. You live on Express Stew.
Yeah, man.
Salute the patrons, first of all.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Shout out to all the Patreons, man. Big up.
Man.
Yeah. I'm the guy who I won them earphones a couple months ago.
Yeah, man. The giveaway. Yeah, but you still ain't sent me the V note, man.
You know what? I use them when I listen to YouTube stuff at work and that. But in terms of phone calls, they're not actually great.
All right, we talk off air, fam. Man. Let's not kill the sponsors, man. Go on there.
But yeah, are you sure the film's banned everywhere? Is it just Brum?
Nah, it's View Cinemas, just View Cinemas.
Sure?
This is according to the papers.
Yeah, what's it according to? Let's chat at the publication, Stephen. What's it according to?
It was Birmingham Mail, wasn't it?
Yeah, according to Birmingham Mail, they've banned it in all View, just View.
That's mad, because I'm from West London, yeah, and literally the four closest cinemas to me are all View.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's mad. Like View down here in London is the main thing.
Definitely.
So that's half your money. You know what I mean? But they're happy to ban it. Like, you know what I mean? Like people said in the chat, and I think Craig said it, I can't remember. They've been looking, any excuse to ban it, you know what I mean?
Why'd you say, caller? Sorry, you cut out a little bit.
Did I cut out?
Yeah, what did you say?
Heard?
You said about the that's half your money.
Oh yeah, like if they're losing the View, that's half your money gone. Because you know what I mean? View, definitely in terms of London, is the biggest cinema. You know, that's the biggest cinema chain.
Yeah, it is. It's a big cinema chain, man. So that is hitting. That will hit him hard.
I was gonna go see What night was it? Saturday. I was going to see it Saturday. No, not yesterday. Sorry, the day before.
Yeah.
No, it was yesterday. Sorry, it was yesterday. So I've been working. Long day today. Yeah, I was going to see it yesterday with my boys, but my boys said it was sold out everywhere, so we didn't go. And then we were going to go today, but obviously I didn't go because I was working. But I thought it was still showing when I looked at it. But maybe you might be right.
Yeah, man. It's because I'm just sorry, Corey, because I'm looking at the Lava Ground says showcase. I've now stopped it as well. So you see, this is how they slow the money.
See?
You know what I'm saying?
The next one will be Odeon.
Yeah, I think
in the world.
Yeah, because even with old, that's where we went. We went Odeon on Broadway Plaza, and when
That's unfortunate. See, man. Anything, the thing I cut out, but I said it. Like Craig said, any excuse to stop the money. You know what I mean? It's black money. They're gonna try and find an excuse to block it. You know what I mean?
But is it? Can anyone clarify? Is it Jay-Z and them that are promoting the film? Because one thing I don't understand: why did Rapman met Jay-Z and them control it? Because they ain't really got no power in the cinemas. Yeah.
Because they're the ones who. I think they're the ones who gave them the budget.
Oh, so, but you see, that's the problem. If he was with, and I said this to Stephen earlier, if he went to, I'm not saying that I agree with none of the narratives of these channels, by the way, but if he went to BBC, they couldn't have just pulled this thing like that. If it was like BBC or like something like that.
BBC ain't gonna fund that. But at the same time, BBC.
Well, they wanted Rapman, you know.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. He
Yeah,
had a few.
they were one of the people who stepped up with the offer, man.
He's gonna show them the Flash, Rock Nation. You know what I mean? Jay-Z's was somebody's idol because he's a rapper as well. He's always gonna go with Jay-Z. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
so
you see,
this
is
Jay-Z. You know what I mean? He's been talking about.
But
Jay-Z
that's how they get you in it. Because if you listen to the story, because he told it on a NFTR in it or whatever.
Yeah, I heard the story.
If you listen to the story, and he's like, "Yeah, I went to the yard and all that." No disrespect, he just sounded like a fan.
It's true.
You get me? I think that's how they got him from.
That's when
if you would have took emotion out of it, he probably wouldn't have signed with Jay-Z or The Rock or whatever.
Jay-Z's got the money and the clout in the States, but in England, like that would have been a phone call for certain. That's why a man can shoot up the cinema when Batman's on and it don't get pulled. See what I'm saying? Because they're not gonna phone.
Joker.
Yeah, Joker and all these films.
Man doing a mad thing again. But my thing, the reason I called, I just want to quickly say.
Yeah.
My thing with this film was Blue Story. I already seen that on YouTube. He had that on YouTube years ago.
Yeah, Steven said that as well.
Yeah, it was on SBTV, innit? But I think he's took it off since then, you know.
I heard it's near enough the same story. So, like, my thing, when they first showed it, my brother told me, I was like, but we seen that years ago. You know what I mean? So I was like, why is he, he's rehashing. Bring something fresh, like, you know what I mean? Like you man was saying, bring something fresh. Even if it could be like in the hood, but allow the gang thing. Really, I'm not gonna lie. The gang thing is getting played out now. It's true. You know, we had Intent 1, Intent 2 wasn't good. You know what I mean, the storyline was terrible.
You know what, you know the worst thing is I ain't seen neither one of them. You know.
Now I tell you the truth though. When you look at that film, the Blue Story. Blue Story, not Intent. It's like, I think what happened was, after they made Shiro's story, when he must have met with Jay-Z and them, they must have said, we need something to keep the buzz going. But really, he should have just waited and built a better story, built a different story. Because
he went back to what he knew.
Yeah, he went back to an older story, but he should have said to them, like, give me like 24 months to come up with something new.
You know what? Man's saying he's rehashing and that, which is true. I'm surprised they never just put Shiro's story on the big screen to Rafa. Like the exact same thing, but just gave it a cinema run. I'm surprised they didn't do that. But
mad views, so you know what I mean. That's the thing. Blue Story kind of went undiscovered. You know, Rapman's only got big in the last year or two, but obviously people that do know him knew about the other stories he's done. You know what I mean? Like, but he's not the only other storyteller. Like, I've always thought Young Teflon's good with the story when he raps about it as well. So you know what I mean. There's other guys out there with the story raps.
You know what film is like? It's obviously a bit cheesy, but it's like the not road, but like, yeah, well, you could say road mixed with like a different perspective. Harry Brown, which is on Prime.
Oh yeah.
So I'm saying that's, even though it's got road in there, it's showing it from a different lens.
Yeah, and then it showed the corruption with the government. I know exactly what you're talking about. They showed the corruption with the government. I linked in with the road stuff. Yeah, that's a big film.
Yeah,
obviously that's different. You know what I mean? That's a white film because obviously that had
Michael Caine.
Yeah, I watched that overnight, fam, and his body and everything, fam. My take.
Plan B was in that, and also to go with Plan B, Ill Manners. I still say that's one of the underrated films that British.
Yeah,
British
Ill Manners
film
was good still.
I
Ill
think
Manners
I think Offender's top 3 UK films of all time. Offender.
Offender?
Yeah, man. Offender. You
What, the
seen it?
prison one?
Yeah, man.
Nah.
Different perspectives. Different perspectives, man.
But Ill Manners, it was so gritty, but at the same time it was so real. You know what I mean? Where that film should have got. If it came out now, that film would do much better. Because you know what I mean, urban's the way in right now. You know what I mean? You're seeing it. You know what I mean? We see it every day.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
You know, that's why I always rate Plan B for that.
Yeah, it was definitely a good film. Definitely a good film. I've watched it twice. And like I said though, this film was definitely. I'm saying this was decent. It was a decent
But maybe
film.
I'm just getting maybe I'm just getting too old now. Like obviously I'm 28 now, and my generation was kidulthood. You know what I mean? I remember when I was like 14, I went with me and my friends went to see that film, and because I'm from West London as well, we kind of it resonated with us. You know what I mean? Because we were seeing areas that we knew. You know what I mean? When they were down in Shepherd's Bush and Oxford Street. You know what I mean? We were like, oh shit, I mean that's our area. We know these areas. You know what I mean? So, but I think now they're 28. I'm just thinking enough of this gang stuff now. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. The show sign else. It's not just the road, you know.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's a
Yeah,
fact.
trust me.
That's a fact, man.
Like you say, where's the man who leaves the road and does something else with himself, goes to uni or something, and invests in something, and then goes back to his hood and tries to sort out his hood or something like that. You know what I mean?
So what are you saying? You reckon one of them Brom stories could make it to the big screen?
Well, there you go.
Yeah, man.
You know, I hear you trying to plug the lottery once. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm talking about, man. You know what I'm talking about. Rapman, holla. Yeah, man. Thanks for the call, though. Yeah.
I'll let you man go, but I'm gonna start calling more often. But I miss the show a lot live, man, because I'm obviously when I'm working and I know. But I always listen back. And obviously, you know I'm a Patreon, so
Yeah, man. Big up the Patreons, man. Big up, yeah.
man.
All right,
Safe
cool.
Mark, alright, but
All right.
Steven's good to chat to you as well, bro.
Yeah, man. Big up yourself, huh?
We just missed you. 971. Call back in. So yeah, man. It's
So yo, people talk to us, man, because I see that a couple of people crying in the comments and what's the moral of the story then, man? I see.
yeah, 971. You're live on the Express Truth.
Yo, what's going on, Mark? Steven, what's going on?
Yeah, what's going
Big up,
on,
man.
man?
Wagwan,
What you
man.
reckon about this situation?
Yeah, it's all mad, you know. It's all kind of crazy, man. But I've been thinking about it a lot recently. I'm thinking like, wow, like I think the times we're living in now, it's all violence. Like even the girls, like 10 years ago, used to like Trey Songz, Chris Brown, but now I see them listen to drill, like Skengdo and AM67. And if even girls are listening to this kind of drill music, then imagine a man then, you know, girls rapping about like stabbing and doing all this drilling stuff. Yeah, so I'm thinking like Rapman's gonna do whatever he can to try and bring the peace of whatever's popular in the mainstream. If you get what I'm saying, for this business, yeah, it's still a business, this film industry. So we're gonna try to do something different, but if it's not gonna bring the money in, then that could be a problem as well.
Do you really think? Do you really think that these road films are really bringing in money? Because which one of them would you say is really gone global?
I mean, like they're not really bringing the money, but if we did try to do what we've got for black people, we've got like love films, and then we've got like gangster films, and then so far in America, those have been like the two genres been popping recently. Yeah. So if we try love films like Brown Sugar, or you got like you got Love Jones, like those old school African American films. Yeah, you remember them? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember Love Jones.
Yeah. Like if we try to do something like that, I don't think it will pop off over here in the UK because the times now have changed. Like now everything like violence is now being glamorized. Like the kids like it for some reason. You want to saw Blue Story and you know the guy who ended up in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I heard people in the cinema laughing, like they didn't take it too serious. Like for me, that was emotional. But the kids watching, they were laughing. So I'm like, wow, what's going on with this new generation? Like people are actually laughing about seeing a man who's been paralyzed. So I'm thinking like these are like the youngers' headspace. This is the next generation. This is how they see life now. So I'm thinking like, wow, like this shows where the world is going now, especially from the youngers. You're going to become older. And I think even on the roadside, like, the youngers are just getting more violent than what my generation was. If that makes sense, like the young kids now from 8 to 7, 9 and 9 carrying knives, but like 2005, 2006, like was mainly like 12 and upwards. You wouldn't really catch like the 8-year-old, 9-year-olds carrying knives, but now it's like it's starting so early now, and that's a sign already. It's showing where the world is going. That makes sense.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, it's definitely
man.
things are definitely there is definitely an aspect of that out there. But
Yeah.
the only point that
So-
what I'm trying to say is that we've seen it so many times. We just got 10 episodes of Top Boy, basically showing us the same kind of, the same, and we know that it's never, because most of us have seen it anyway, just growing up, because it's
So
not.
what would you rather like to see? What would you like to see instead? Like, what would you like to see in cinemas or Netflix, especially for these
Me?
black audiences?
All right, I was reading an article not so long ago, talking about lottery winners who have won the lottery and they broke within a matter of years, and that's something that I'd like to see on film. Like, what happened?
Fam, you know what? You know, it's mad.
Like, people could say it won't sell and all that.
You know that could easily backfire.
And I caught up with that geezer from back in the day, and they used to call him the king of the gypsies, fam.
To get money and they still spend it on dumb shit. Like, that can still reinforce the stereotype of black people, if that makes sense.
No, but it's not only black. No, but hold on, caller. It's not only black people that win the lottery, though.
And also, so what you saying? You're going to do like a film, like talking about like black and white people win the lottery and then seeing them going broke?
No, like you could probably follow the life of someone after like when they walk away with the winnings and what happens next. Like that I think that's a good story. Like it can't only be road. So what you trying to say to me, that it's only road that works for us? That's making me feel sad. That's the only story we can tell.
But
that makes me feel sad because Bollywood have got loads of different films showing all kind of different things. So when I'm not saying I watch them films, but there's all different things going on. You see what I'm saying? There's films about this, films about that. They've even got films look like Iron Man and all of that.
No, the thing is that, Hollywood, like even America itself, I think it's called the economic system is 10 times more than the UK. So their audience is a whole different level compared to the US. I think the US is like 363 million. In the UK, we're only 70 million. So that itself shows that it's a bigger market there. Bigger market means more money. So they can have more leverage, taking more risk, and trying new projects and different films. But over here, we're quite limited because we're a small island. But we're still doing all right for a small island. But we can't really like take those kind of risk in this country. We're still kind of conservative as a people. So these films we're trying to put out, it's kind of like we have to make money back. We can't afford to put something out there and not make money back. Even for the white people, the white industry, but for black people, it's like, no, we have to. We want to get so many chances in the industry, and if we flop, then it's going to flop for the next 5 years until we get like another chance. If that makes sense.
But are these films? Are these films succeeding though? These films these road films. All right? Let me ask you then. What's been the most successful road film in British history?
But I think Blue Story might be the one.
I don't know about that.
I think it's still quite early to say, but I haven't seen any like black urban film in the UK that has got this kind of buzz. So, but like Blue Story might be that step forward. But it's
didn't Brotherhood do numbers though? I thought Brotherhood did all right, man.
Brotherhood, I don't know. I don't think the streets were really messing with it, Not like on this Blue Story level. Like I know Brotherhood was there, and it's had its sequence and stuff, but I feel like the roads, they connect more to Blue Story. Like, it's more authentic. People know, they can just feel it when it's more authentic, and I think Blue Story speaks to the people a lot more, and it has also like a little message and the reason why people go into the gang life and how it ends up. So it has like a little message and a little lesson that's to be taught in the film itself. But the adulthood and kidulthood, I think it's more for like a money thing. Like, I work once, let's try again. For me, kidulthood is the best one. The first one, that's the best one. But then the second and third one, I think it's all for the money, man. I'm not gonna lie. When I storms it in there and all that shit, I'm like, yeah, man. Like now it's all for the money now, man. Like there's no message there, I feel Blue Story connect more with the people on the road.
I think off the back of the success of Shiro's story, he will definitely get that buzz. His next one will be the that will be the telling point. So whatever he makes next, but we'll see. We'll see what he does. But thanks for the call, though.
Yeah, man. Big up
All right.
yourself, man.
Big up you, man. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Respect
Bless,
you.
man. Cool.
Obviously, as man was saying that, just Googled it from. I'm on IMDb, best British urban films. Do you want to know what they are? Top 15, lad.
Yeah, read it out.
All right, number 1, Brotherhood. Number 2, Antisocial. Number 3, The Governors. Number 4, Ill Manners. Number 5, Payback Season. Number 6, Offender. Number 7, Attack the Block. Number 8, Another Hood. Number 9, Sket. Number 10, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, that's the Noel Clark one.
Number 11, Shifty. Number 12, One Day. 13, Harry Brown. 14, Shank. 15, Adulthood. 16, Rolling with the Nines. 17, Bullet Boy. 18, Kidulthood.
365.
Yo,
Yo, what's happening?
greetings, King. Greetings.
Yeah, man, big up, man.
Bless up, fam. Yeah, nah, you know what? I was just calling in quickly, yeah? Because obviously, I'll be honest, I haven't even watched the film yet, yeah?
Yeah.
So, I can't be, how can I say it, like a real truthful critic in it right now, yeah? But at the same time, I literally just jumped on about, 10 minutes ago to the platform, right?
Yeah.
So, and I heard you lot talking about why did they keep showing the same message? Why did we keep showing the same message and all like that? Like as if to say that us as people don't have creativity, like that, and can't show something different. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And it's like people don't want to come up with an answer. So I just want to quickly comment here, but I just wanted to say, man, it's like a thing where this agenda that they have, with this entertainment industry, obviously it's a lucrative industry as well, isn't it? It's a money industry as well, but they play on this repetitive thing on our psyche, this repetitive thing, repetitive, and to the point where it's burnt into our psyche, and we don't know no different, right? And so we also act out on them behaviors now because it's printed in our psyche. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And it's like a repetitive cycle. You know what I mean? Just going round in a cycle, you know what I mean? We got some of it obviously from the US, you know what I mean? But it's crazy though. I feel the same way a lot of the time. I think to myself, but why are they always portraying the same image? You understand what I'm trying to say to you? Yes, I understand because it's a business and that, but that's an excuse at the same time. There's a reason for that. It's to keep us in a certain shackled and chained, in a mindset to a certain degree. I believe. And it's been like this for a while, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely agree with some of the points that you made there because it's like it's like even when he just read out the list of the top 18 films, it's like so much of the same story. That's the all I'm saying. I'm not saying that we don't need these stories told, but I just think there's different stories we can tell. That's all my.
Yes, and at the same time as well, it has a great effect on us. You know what I mean? When we're seeing these same images put out repetitively, to the point it come like advert. You know what I mean?
And how's it helping us?
It has a great effect on the psyche as well, man. You know.
And what I'm saying is, how's it helping us? Because when everyone's like, we need to see these things, we need to know what's going on. How's it helping us? That's what I'm saying. Us watching these films, man will watch it and then get up and leave the cinema. How's it helping us then? What's the next step?
True. Nah, true, fam. Yes, all right, Kings, then.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the call, man. Yeah, man.
All right, fam. Love.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How's it helping us?
Trust me, bro.
Because we watching these films, yes.
Obviously, because hold on, I just read that whole list, blood, and there was like one comedy on there, fam.
Yeah, Another Hood. That was a decent film, Another Hood. It was like the UK's version of Friday. I'd say.
Friday, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But there's, like I said, we got a million stories we can tell. Like it is definitely.
But the thing is, obviously, you gotta remember, it all comes down to imagination, and storytelling. So, fam, it don't always have to be things that are based in the real world, you know. Because, like, look at all the things that are hot right now that are people running to, and people are trying to say, "Oh, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that." Clearly, people want to see that because Joker's made over $1 billion, fam. And obviously, like, that's not based. That's not. It's based in the real world in terms of like suffering from mental illness, but the character and all of that, it's comic book stuff, fam.
Exactly. Like these films like Joker, these fantasy films. Because what I was saying is that sometimes when people wanna open up their imagination. So there's different things that you can imagine. Like when a man might watch like Avengers, he can imagine like what's going on. A man can fly and all these things. Like some people want to, you can open it up a little bit. I know the budgets would be a bit more, but it would open it up a little bit. That's all it is. And like I said earlier, if these sorry, yeah, like I said earlier, if they wouldn't have been able to pull that film so easily if it was about something different. Because the first thing they say is film about gang violence, film about how these youths are getting drawn into gang violence. See what I mean? And then it gets pulled. Then they pull it then. And now we don't know, we can't 100% confirm, but we're hearing rumours that Odeon have now, or is it Showcase, one of the two have now pulled the film as well. So how's it going to recoup? Do you know what I'm saying? How's it going to recoup? If it's getting pulled out the cinema, these few days now are where a large part of the money will be made.
Trust me, fam. And I saw someone in the chat earlier, right? Black Panther, fam. Black Panther isn't a black film, fam. I'll explain why after this.
Yeah. Explain. The caller dropped.
Oh, dropped. Yeah. It's not a black film, man, because you gotta remember, like, who's bankrolling it. It's not black people in it, so it's not a black film. Just because you see black faces on screen and the flew at the direction at that Ryan Coolidge, but that's not a black film, fam. You get me? It was created at a time because they knew what they were doing, blood. It's a comic book thing. Like, don't get excited, fam.
But look
Because
how
obviously
happy.
it came out and did numbers, and I hear people talking about, oh, they're gonna give back to the black community. It's like, what are you talking about, man? Why would they do that?
And think about it, how much people got really excited about Black Panther, about seeing black people living like that and a black genius. And think about how that was Marvel that made that, Disney actually. And think about how excited people got about that film. So what I'm saying is you can probably do it on a smaller scale, something like that, and show people us in a different light as well, especially for these black British films. 073.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Hello? This is Paulette Hamilton.
All right, yeah.
Hello?
Mom, this is my mom. Yeah, you're right.
All right, hello.
I'm listening. Hello, Stephen. Hello, Mark. I'm listening to this, and I'm really enjoying what I'm hearing. Can I just put another perspective?
Yeah. Yeah, mommy, you live, man.
All right,
Hello?
sorry. The reason I'm ringing, sorry, there's a bit of feedback. The reason I'm ringing is because I know that you're saying that the film, I haven't watched it yet, but the reason I feel that what you're saying is partially right but partially wrong is because society is hungry to understand why young people or people of all different colours and denominations are behaving like this. They just don't understand it. And every generation that comes through, whether it be goths, whether it be back in the 60s when they had a movement, they want to be heard. And until people understand what these people, what young people are trying to say on this platform,
there'll be a need for it. Because, Mark, I hear what you're saying. Not every young black person has this experience. But remember, a large number are going through it in various different ways. And they don't understand why it's happening to them, and they don't understand how they've got caught up in it. And unless we're going to change the cycle, people need to understand the narrative, not only how they can be caught up in it, but also how they can get so caught up in it that they end up, dying or going to prison or ending up in mental institutions where people like Craig Pickney are meeting them and seeing them regularly, not just at school, but when they end up in prison and when they end up in mental institutions. And Mark, it's not a good place for our community to be. So I haven't watched the film, but I do think our community needs to see more of these types of films, because they need to understand how easy it is to go from being a normal youngster, everything going right, and it could be that your mum or dad loses their job, that there isn't anything going on in the house, and a stranger takes over, gives you a little bit of money, whatever that platform may be to get you into that life. You may be coming home from school, they offer you chips from the chip shop, and they draw you in that way. People need to understand how easy it is to get involved. When I was very young, women didn't get involved in street life. Now they're as involved in it as the young men are, and that's because times have changed. And what I'd say to you, you're all right that it's getting really irritating, our community being reflected in this way. But to be perfectly honest, our community and other communities, the Asian community, the white community, they're behaving in this way. So I still think we need to see these types of films. There is a place for them. And until we stop going, you went to the cinema tonight and it was packed. And until that hunger dies down, I don't believe that these films will ever stop being made. So all we need to do is use these films in a positive way to try and stop your son, Mark, your kids, your generation's children from actually ending up in the same place that my generation's children have ended up. And it's not pretty to watch. And there's a lot of parents out there that have done a lot of crying because they've lost their sons, they've lost their daughters, they've lost their children to this type of life.
You know what? Yeah, you know what, Paul, I agree with everything you said. But you know what it is? How many times are they gonna have to have films and TV series and all of this to try and gain an insight into what's going on? Because we just had Top Boy, everyone saw that, and it was a prime example of what you just spoke
Not
about.
that they're trying to gain an insight. They
Yeah.
haven't got an insight. They may have done these films, but a lot of the wider community and the people that matter out there, the people that actually distribute funding, distribute resources, black people are still being discriminated against. Asian people are still being discriminated against. We're still fighting out there with unseen prejudices that unfortunately our youngsters are facing, and they don't understand why they're facing it. So doing a film, a lot of people my age and younger don't understand, whether we're black, white, or Asian, totally why young people are going in the direction they're going in. And a lot of the people that actually have the resources and the funding out there that can help young people, they don't understand, why are our children being disproportionately thrown out of the school system? Because that's where it starts. If you're not in school, then what are you doing?
But I'd like to see a film about that.
But at the end of the day, at the moment they're showing the end results of something like that. But what I'm saying to you is, you've got lots of people now in food banks Parents can't afford to feed their kids. Their kids can't afford to get clothes. Their children are not eating but one decent meal a day. You know, we are not seeing what these films are not showing, and I haven't seen this film, is how it actually starts. What gets these people into this life? And I'm not saying it's always because everything is so difficult and what have you, but sometimes it just takes one or two things to happen, which you may not think, Mark, because you're very resilient, and you, Stephen, that you know, it wouldn't touch you, but it touches others.
But
and they
mama,
go down the
it's a
road.
lot of short term thinking though. Because we
Yeah,
watched this film, that no, but you know what it is. There was
Yeah.
the reason that the gang ended up. Well, not the gang. The young men ended up in the positions they
Where
did
they
in the
did,
film,
yeah.
is because they weren't taught about long term decisions. They were just making decisions off the spur of the moment. See what I mean?
But that's not their fault.
Emotion was driving their actions, man.
Yes, but that's not their fault. How were they being taught these things? At the end of the day, Mark, you came from a household, and you, Stephen, where it was drilled into you. It isn't drilled into half of the children or young people nowadays. And it's not that they're good or bad. They just don't know. So they can only do from what they know. And at the end of the day, I don't blame your generation or the generation after you. I blame our generation and the generation in front of us. Because when I was at home with my parents, they were really strict. And I wanted life to be a little bit easier for my youngsters. So sometimes we gave in where perhaps we shouldn't have. But then you've got another generation of kids and parents my age that just didn't have it. They did not have it to give to the children. They've had children, they had other problems going on, and the children became secondary to that. So children, the emotions that children have or young people have, it's from all they know. It's from their limited experience. So all I'm saying to you is I agree that these films sometimes can be frustrating because you're thinking, why aren't we learning? We're not learning because at the moment, we're watching these films, but we're not looking deeper as to what the causes of the problems are. And I am I am a woman that believes strongly in my community. I love all communities out there, but I am a black woman and I'm proud of it. But at the end of the day, not all people have instilled that in their children, that if you're a white mother, be proud of who you are, but be understanding of other cultures. If you're an Asian woman, be proud of who you are, but be you know what I mean? It has to cut across the races. But what I'm seeing now with the young people, you can't put a pin between them. Whether you're white, black, or Asian, they're all going through the same thing. You've got generations of young people in parts of Birmingham that 3 generations of parents have never worked a day in their life. It don't matter whether they're black, white, or Asian. They still have never worked a day in their life. So how can they ever lift themselves off the poverty line if they sometimes don't do things that are not legal? Dad could end up not being at home, could be in prison. Mum or dad ends up ill, ends up in a mental institution, in and out of a mental institution. That child has got to fend for itself. It's then palmed off to whether mother, grandmother, whatever. Then some of them end up in care. The care system is broken. You have to, for me, these films they're showing the end result of something that is systematic that's going on out there.
That's why I think we need to start showing the root cause. So we need to start showing. We need to start showing like it starts from when you meet your partner. So we need to start showing that as well.
Yeah, but this is why the discussion needs to get deeper. It's not about not showing these films, because the reason people are watching these films is because they want to understand why. I haven't watched this particular one, but Mark, you know, I go to all of them, but I haven't watched this particular one yet. But at the end of the day, people want to know. They're hungry to understand why is this happening in society today. And for me, and this is where perhaps I disagree with you, that is not a negative thing. The results yesterday at the cinema, that I don't understand what happened there. That for me is youngsters being stupid. And what was then used is youngsters being stupid and not controlled by the authorities that were in the place. Then because they didn't want to disrupt the viewing figures for the other film that was out, they decided to just stop showing the film. But at the end of the day, there is a need for these films to be shown, perhaps with a bit more depth. So if you're going to speak to the filmmakers, perhaps you need to actually show a little bit more of where these people, where they're coming from. This is why I enjoy Top Boy, believe it or not, because it shows a little bit more depth to say that this life is so wrong. So I'm not going to keep you any longer, but I'm passionate about this, and it's a brilliant discussion. But this thing is deeper than just the results of that film tonight. It starts from when the child is in its mom's tummy, from when the woman and the man gets together. It is so deep. And also for me, the big thing, and people may disagree with me, it's that institutionalized racism that is out there that sometimes people don't even believe that they're doing, but it's institutionalized. And that's why people talk about the glass ceiling. And it's tough. It's tough out there for youngsters. If you're a lad and you're 16 years old or 50 and you want to go straight and come, try getting a job. It's more or less impossible. So sometimes you get boxed into a corner. If you want to do apprenticeships, most apprenticeships, unless it's changed, won't take you without 5 GCSEs. Some lads can barely read. It is tough out there for our youngsters. So sometimes I feel it's unintentional consequences. They get pigeonholed into this life that they don't even understand how they got there. And I'm going to shut up at that point because I talk too much. But honest to God, this is a bigger issue than just the way the film has portrayed it. For me, it's how they got there in the first place and what is society doing or not doing that this part of the community feels so affected that they don't feel that they're part of society today. And I'm not just talking about black boys or white boys or Asian. I'm talking about young people in general. Why is it that they feel that they only belong if they're in these groups and they've been put there, some of them, absolutely against their will, and they fight to get out, but they can't. It's so tough.
Yeah, I agree with
but
that.
I'm going to shut up, Bob. You know, you carry on with the debate. But honestly, it is tough. It is tough out there for young people. So I hear you, but honestly, we can't stop talking, and films like this need to come out so our young people can start to understand with a bit more depth what is going on, what is happening to them. And
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Oh, thanks for the call. Definitely.
Appreciate the call, man.
I hope everyone
you.
hears
God
the
bless.
information. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, bye-bye then. Bye-bye.
Moderator, please get rid of Impulis. He's had a few warnings. He obviously hasn't understood. Get him out of here, man. You live on the Express Truth?
Yes, greetings. So I'm just going to do a quick one because I know how busy you are. I haven't seen the film myself personally, but I will, when I get some time, I will have a little view on it. But personally, I just feel that, you know, obviously it's a generation thing, just like the lady was just saying a minute ago.
Yeah.
You know, we come from each generation. I mean, I'm old school, I'm 46, I'll be 47 next year. So when we was growing up, we had a different upbringing. You know, we didn't go through what the generation are going through today. And I think a lot of it is to do with peer pressure, you know, people not really taking notice of how, you know, these youths are feeling mentally and physically, you know. there's a film that I kind of watched quite recently called Real Life. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Real Life?
Yeah.
Nah, I haven't seen that one, mate.
If you type it in on YouTube, it should come up.
What is that? The series? You mean Quincy's thing?
That's right. Yeah,
big up Quincy, man.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But obviously that's just another scale. But a lot of these movies that these guys and ladies are bringing out, most of them are based on reality and the realness of what's going on the streets. But as somebody did mention before, I think it was a caller beforehand, said that a lot of the stuff that a lot of these movies that are making, some of the footages are not really based on reality. So it's kind of confusing because they look at that and they think, okay, that's how it is, that's how people are, and then they go out and carry these foolishness and what they're dealing with. But yeah, that's just, I just wanted to touch base. So yeah, keep up what you're doing and big up yourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the call, and man, we hear what you're saying as well, caller.
Yeah. All right, respect for that. Nice one.
Yeah, man.
All right, bless you. Nice one.
Gary Penford said we should start talking till it. All right, we're gonna roll for another 10 to 15 minutes. So get your call in now if you want to call. Solutions wise, everything my mum was saying was definitely facts, and my mum is definitely linked in. You can Google my mum's name, but what I'll say is this: 365.
Yo, man.
Yeah, Wagwan.
Yeah, Wagwan, man. It's me again still.
Yeah, man.
Flipping. Yeah, man. I'm calling in again quickly, man, just to clarify. Yeah. Big up that woman caller as well, yeah, please, yeah. Big up that queen there, cause she did touch on some subjects, and she was speaking about the whole aspect, kinda, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which I found kind of interesting, so I thought I'd have to call back, and you know what I mean. I can't remember exactly what you guys were saying. But you saying anything about that you need it? There's no answer. There's no really way out for the youth, basically. You know what I mean? And man. This thing is crazy, man. As you said, it goes deep, innit? It goes deep, and there's layers and layers and layers to this thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. What we've got to stop doing as the older generation. Yeah. Right. And the people that's in their 20s and 40s and older, they need to start teaching the people that's younger than them, right? Because each one teach one, right? They need to stop teaching the people, the youth, to stop running to the slave master, yeah, as if to say they're going to free them, right? That's why they're kept in captivity, right? And they keep going around in circles, yeah?
Yeah.
And you understand what I'm trying to say? And it's deep like that, and it is simple like that. But as we know, there's layers to this stuff. But that's another reason, right? It's because we keep running to these people, the same people that enslaved us, yeah? Right? That's how blind we are. Yeah, that's why we're in this very predicament. Yeah, that's one of the biggest reasons. Yeah, and it's on various levels, big brothers. Yeah, we know this if we pay attention to the particulars. You know what I mean? I just wanted to touch on that as well. You know what I mean, man? And I'm gonna stay in tune with you guys. You're gonna hear from me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, definitely.
Well, all right, families, big up yourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, respect,
Yeah, man, big up, fam.
Respect.
Obviously, solutions, man. We've been kind of trying to offer a few solutions through how the show's been going.
I think root causes. I think if we I'm saying we can document what's going on in the community, in our communities across Britain, but let's start looking at the root problem, which is I was saying that, like, when we meet women, a lot of men, it's just about sex, innit? And then they end up having children with women.
Just like in the film, fam.
And then there's a lot of men who are unable to be fathers as well. Like the mum keeps them out. Like they're not allowed to be involved with the child because the man might have, for whatever reason, there's a lot of that going on in the community. So we need to show these things too and show how we get to this point. Because one thing I noticed what Rapman did is throughout the film, there was no man present in the home. There was no man present in the home, like when they were in the hospital, when the son was in the wheelchair, there was no man present in the home. But we need to start hearing that story. Why is that man not there? See what I'm saying? What's happened? Because it's not always that the man has just left the family. Sometimes the women genuinely don't allow them to see. See what I'm saying? Sometimes the women don't allow them to see the child as well. So we have to look at that as well. We've got to start telling stories across the board. We can't just keeping it to the same thing. Let's look at the root cause of this post-Cold War, what's been going on. Let's talk about that as well, like how the self-hate thing, a lot of it's self-hate. There's a load of things we can discuss, man. There's a load of things we can discuss, but the campaign that Rapman's doing, I think for his campaign there was a lot of big companies interested in it, in Rapman. I don't know if Jay-Z and them understand the struggle what we're going through here. So although they're putting up the money, if you're putting up the money, you must have some creative control as well. What do you reckon, Steven?
Yeah, I can agree to that, fam. 100%. If you're putting up the money, most of the time you may have, depending on how the deal works and depending on how you are as an individual, you may have more creative control than the actual creator of the project, fam. Because you're gonna be like, because a man could be like, yeah, my vision for it's this. It's like, family, I don't want that in there. Remember, I'm funding this thing, you know.
Exactly. So all right, we're gonna take 2 more calls, then we're out of here, you know, people. So the next 2 callers are the last 2. So if you want to say what you want to say, call in. But yeah, go and see the film. While it's still out, everyone
Yeah,
go
go
and
see the film before they take it out. Go see the film and then message us, man, with your verdict and that. You get me? Obviously, them youths with the samurai swords and that, stop watching Black Samurai. Because I don't know what you think this is. It's not Pirates of the Caribbean, fam. If you knew better, you'll do better. You get me?
Yeah, but it's a fact.
What's wrong with these cats?
We'd have played the footage as well, but because it's minors, we couldn't play it.
Yeah. Allow it, man. Just look for it online, man. It's all over the socials, man.
Yeah, because it was minors, we couldn't play it, so we don't want them to. That's how they got us last time on the ban. DJ BX, do you reckon more stop and search on the back of this? It definitely promotes. What I will say is that a lot of the people that are in these films look like most of us that are locked in right now. So it's hard for these authorities to probably say, all right, we all kind of wear the same. We wear the same. Moderator, do your job, man. We wear the same kind of clothes and that type of thing. So they might start. It could help increase the stop and search thing. It definitely could. You know what I'm saying? It definitely could. It could help. It could help raise the stop and search thing, definitely. Because in that film, there was like a lot of shootings, man. Like it was shown in like a few scenes, but it was showing like a point where they were just going to the shooting at each other, and it just makes it look like guns are just about like that. And I'm not saying they're not, but see what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think people would be so willing to catch a body on the roads as seen in the film. Because realistically, yeah, obviously we were talking about this affair, and Mark was saying, yeah, but man's are caught up in the gang thing. There's only really 2 brothers in this whole film, you know, who have reasons to want to kill like that. Everyone else was kind of along for the ride, innit? But if you sign up to the gang, I guess like that's what you sign up for, innit?
Exactly. So it looks like we ain't got no more callers, man. We're gonna give you 5 more minutes, and then we out. Everyone, tell us what your final thoughts are in the chat.
Give me your final thoughts.
What do you think?
Any good ones, man, I'll read them out, innit?
Yeah, we read out a few messages.
But allow the troll thing, fam, because we're not under a bridge, you get me? Was the movie worth watching? Give it a watch, man. Yeah, it's worth watching. It's not garbage or anything. Like we're not knocking the filmmaking or the acting or anything like that. It's a good watch, and it's just like it's just a narrative, and it not even a narrative. It's just a genre, man. It's just same and the same, innit?
You live on the Express Truth?
Yes, Mark. Big up, Stephen. How you doing?
Yeah, man. What's
Big
happening,
up,
man?
man. Big up. You're good.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm just hearing the debate today on the obviously YouTube and that.
Yeah.
Just to big up yourself for the discussion. Yeah, big shout out to your mother as well, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Thanks.
phoning and supporting you, and obviously just to raise that key point there. Your mum phoning in today and supporting you is the reason why you're probably doing what you're doing today, and it's why a lot of young kids today are probably falling victim to the streets because they're not coming from households where parents are supporting them and pushing them in the right direction to do the right thing. This is why we're having so much troubles and dramas in the streets with these kids. Is that what we're talking about today, as what we especially I can only talk from my background, from who I am and what I've experienced as a person. I can't talk for anybody else, so I'm talking from as a first generation black guy whose both parents were born in the Caribbean, Jamaica, and I was first born in England. Do you know what I mean? And that's a very unique experience and a unique mentality. And also, when we come in here, our parents coming from Jamaica to here, you have to understand is what we class as culture within England is not really a genuine culture. It's an adopted culture which is coming from enslavement. And that carries a certain mentality in a certain context. And I've been doing a lot recently where I'm sitting down and talking to various people from various communities, and I had a real deep discussion. I was flying out the country the other day, and a taxi guy picked me up, a young Asian guy, and it's the first time I've really sat with an Asian guy, and he's actually admitted some things, and actually spoke to me about their life and how they live, and the feelings of what he's going through with arranged marriage and how it affects his family and his community. Do you know what I mean? And how it keeps their community on track. And we had an in-depth discussion as I was driving to the airport. And a lot of the problems that we're having within our communities that we don't have no structure within our culture that keeps a commonality with the youth to keep them on the straight and narrow. We're basically running lawless out here, and what this guy was saying to me is that when he was 19, his dad took him to India to find a wife, and they went out there for 2 weeks, and by the time he had to come back, he had to have found a wife. That's it. Arranged marriage. And he said he didn't want to do it, but the fear and the respect that he had for his mum and dad and for the wider community within their culture, that he was going to do what his parents told him.
Mm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Did it help him, you reckon?
Say again?
Did it help him in the long run? Like being...
Did it help him in the long run?
Yeah.
He just sold a business for £500,000. He's got 38 houses that he rents out, and his uncle's a multi-millionaire in property development. The rest, a lot of his other family are into quite others are into property as well and shops. Do you know what I mean? So what I'm talking about is that a lot of the times I don't personally agree with that style, but I understand what it's doing. It's maintaining structure within the community. You understand what I'm saying? For the betterment of the community. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know if you watched the podcast episode with Reva where we speak about would black people benefit from arranged marriage.
No, I haven't watched that one.
Yeah, man, check that.
Watch that one. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that one. But again, I don't know. But what I'm saying is that I'm looking at other cultures because this is something I'm quite passionate about. Do you know what I mean? I'm seeing what we're doing as a culture as black people within in the UK and seeing, okay, well, what do we have? What don't we have? What do other cultures have? What don't they have? And like compared to all the other cultures, we're way behind. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I've got a few Indian brethren, and I challenge them on certain things. I'm like, if I wanted a electrician to do a job, or I wanted a plumber, or I wanted a man to build, you got anybody you know? Yeah, man, I got a man, and it's one of their people. Now, if I was asked to ask a black person, you got a man to do something, they can't tell me no one. Do you understand what I get? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
At the end of the day, there's so many flaws within our culture, which is leading the youth astray. Do you know what I mean? And again, like one of the other callers was saying, that we ain't got nothing to give the youth. You get me? We're not creating stuff for ourselves. Do you know what I mean? When you talk to these other cultures, their mentality is we're going to do for ourselves. We're not going to rely on other people to give us handouts or handouts for the government to get us up on the ladder. We're going to go and do for ourselves, get what we need to get. Then we may be able to get a little handout to bump us up and get us through. But the mentality is do for self. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a fact.
And then once you create something for yourself, then you can offer the youth something. The youth haven't got it, then just go to the road. They've got an option. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the truth.
Option.
That's the truth, man. But we have to start thinking long term in order to implement that change.
Exactly, but okay, so you tell me then, what are the first steps of counteracting what we're seeing on the roads and what's been depicted on the cinemas? What is the first step?
I think it starts with like relationships, personally.
Okay.
Because I think it starts with relationships, because two people have to be on the same thinking. You see what I mean? We gotta take it back to that. Like, there's too many men thinking with their little head.
How do we interject with the crisis that we have now? How do we interject into young people's relationships here? So you find a girl who's maybe classic example from a mixed heritage background. Dad's not around. Mum's been struggling. Hasn't really had any guidance. A young guy from the same sort of background. Dad not around. Them two together. Who intervenes to give them guidance in the relationship? What structure, what infrastructure we got to interject to help these people have the right mentality to cohabit in a relationship? Where does that come from?
They need to see examples of it working. Like, you need to see examples.
This is what institution or what structure
it don't necessarily have to be an institution, or it could be your friends' parents. It could be, you gotta have people that you can talk to and ask questions and ask questions to.
The community aspect is that it's the wider things within the community, and you know what? The one thing what our community needs to do is we need to stop telling lies, man.
Go on, break that down.
Truthful.
Break that down.
We need to be more truthful. At the end of the day, there's a lot of things that are going on in our areas. You know this.
So break it down, caller. Break it down. Give us an example.
So there's certain man that everybody knows. We all know a man who's shotting, he's doing his thing here, and he's making money.
Yeah.
You get me? But as a stand-up person, I work. I'm an honest guy. I got kids. I look after my kids and missus, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not into that. But I know a man who's into it. And are we really calling them out and saying, nah, what you're doing is not right?
Nah, but you know what it is, though? I gotta say this. I said it earlier, I'll say it again. Crime can happen. It don't necessarily have to have violence along with it. So I'm not saying I agree with man shouting, but I'm saying all other communities do it. If a man's trying to get himself a head start or do something, or he's genuinely has got no other option, which that's another debate in itself.
Yeah, but okay.
I'm not here to just condemn. I'm not here to. Go on, Corley.
Hello.
Yeah.
No, carry on, man. Carry on.
What I'm saying is, yeah, I'm not just gonna like condemn them, man. Like there's enough mans I know who genuinely have got hearts of gold who might have had a stint on road. You see what I'm saying? Like to probably put themselves in a better position, or genuine family people that probably weren't able to do nothing else because they've wasted a lot of time, and that's another debate in itself as well. But it happens in every community. We've just become the poster childs for it. You see what I'm saying? We've just
Yeah, I
become
hear what you're saying.
we've just
I hear what
became
you're
the
saying, but
advertise because
you're taking the leg up. You're taking the leg up on the backs of other people. So it doesn't matter how much good you're doing. You're putting bad out there to get up. So
that's what the banks do. That's what the banks do, caller. And don't get me wrong, I'm not defending that way of living at all. I agree.
No,
I'm
I hear what you're
I'm just
saying,
creating a
but
conversation.
You've got to put those points out there.
Yeah.
You've got to put those points out there. You know what I mean? But again, like we're saying, these things are being depicted on the screens. Again, certain things are happening in our society. And again, Rob, I believe, like you say, there should be more emphasis on, like your mum said, of where these kids are coming from, the reasons why they may be getting into these things, and the totality of the consequences of the actions they have. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's it, man. Yeah, man. Thanks for the call, man.
Yeah,
Definitely
man.
some
All right,
real
then.
points, yeah?
Mark, Stephen, big up, keep up your thing, man. Yeah?
Yeah, man. Big up yourself, G.
All right, then. Good night. Yeah, I'll see you later.
Respect.
All right, we're going to take one more call.
See.
417.
Yeah, welcome.
Ah, Dave, look how late you phoned back in, man.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, basically, just touching on the last point of that last caller there, I think that we have to be really careful as a group, as a community, of actually like looking at ourselves as like not losers, but like we've lost the game. Like I hear what he's saying about the Asian brother going abroad, getting his wife, and now he's a multi-millionaire with loads of properties. But that same story happens in the black community as well. But it's just not pushed out there. Hence the reason, going back to my first argument, we need these stories to get pushed out there to say, yo, there is a brother who's studied, who's done his thing, he's bought 2, 3, 4 properties, he started a YouTube channel, or he's gone out there, he's become a plumber, and he's winning in life. Because that will like make other people who have won as well, like want to share their story, number 2, and then it'll also inspire the youth then to say, yo, look, there's another narrative, and it's a truthful narrative. I don't just need to follow the hood or the bang bang thing, or not just follow, but because a lot of these people who look at this, like, who are coming from this lifestyle, yeah, or who get drawn in, or who want to understand that lifestyle as well, like, wow, why is it always these youths that behave this way? Let me watch this program, or to get insight of it. Yeah, they don't understand that they're looking at just one you and then just hate brushing everybody as going through that same door. There's many different doors. There's many different narratives. Yeah, you may have that story of a troubled person going through that, but you could have a even more troubled person who's made it to Oxford or Cambridge and now is in property. But that story is never pushed, and I'm sure, because we're talented people, you know.
That's
we're
a
very
fact. That's a
talented
fact.
people. You get me? But it's not promoted. It's near enough propaganda, dog. You get me? It's not promoted. None of that story, none of that, like these different avenues, these different options are promoted. So I do hear where that caller's coming from, saying, yo, the Asian community and this and this. Yeah, that happens, and good for that Asian person, but that also happens in the black community as well. They may not go out and do arranged marriages, but that level of success, where his mum may buy a council house, he from that council, using the equity of the council house, goes and buys 2 and then flips it and then flips it. Those type of stories are in the black community. Or even look at yard shops. Do you know how many yard shops are making money? Where there's a chain of yard shops just in the West Midlands, which are owned by, these are positive black businesses. But there's never a story about that. wouldn't it be nice to see a film on that or something?
That's
You
a
see
fact.
what I mean?
Definitely, most definitely.
Real talk. And it's not only us. Some of the biggest drug dealers are Asian, you know. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, we ain't moving no real weight really. But like I said, we've became the poster boy to it.
Boys of it.
Yeah,
Or the gang thing.
Because we're on the street level fighting over the crumbs, while the next man sits on the throne and just eating. So I'm saying that's what needs to be shown, because maybe these youths will understand, and like you're fighting each other and not really. But like I said, we don't really want to really even push that too tough, because that ain't even really the right way to go about it still.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can show a film showing that. See what I'm saying? So
I just think it's really important. That's why I understand that this is it's an authentic film, and it does show certain narratives which are truthful, which are authentic, which has its foundation. But there's so many different doors open to different like black kids, to different kids of different ethnicities to go through nowadays, especially in the UK. You got kids who are selling stuff on Amazon, who's making money. You got kids. I've heard of a story of a kid who buys sweets and sells it in the playground, buys it and sells it and he was flipping that, and he was making thousands of pounds. There was a white kid doing that, and there was a black kid doing that.
Yeah, that's a businessman. So that's a natural businessman who has seen an opportunity, who's seen a demand and supplied that demand. That's a businessman.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Then you walk on the high street, you see so many nice Jamaican food shops, African food shops. There's black businesses around. What we need to be careful of is saying, yo, why is it always us? Nah, man, be black and be proud. There's aspects where we are winning, and this is why it's very important to show balance. Not just the hood thing, but equal balance. It's really important, especially to Mike, because like me, I know that there's aspects where I'm a well-traveled man. I know that there's aspects where we're winning. But if you're a 14-year-old kid who maybe doesn't have a strong mind, who hasn't grown up in like a balanced lifestyle, maybe he's going through things as well. Yes, that Shiro story or whatever story is going to obviously show a certain aspect and he can connect to him. But where's the aspiration? Where's you know what, I want to be like them. Everyone else is winning, but they don't look like you on TV and that. Come on, something's up with that, you know?
Yeah, that's a fact. So all right, let's get some final thoughts, man, because we've been there over 2 hours, man. We got your filmmaker and you need stories, Brum Stories on Patreon. We're on episode 25. 25 that could be a film. All them 25 episodes. Nah, be serious. They could all be a film. See what I'm saying? We got some good ones coming as well.
I'll just check back-to-back films, man.
See what I mean? Watch Shutdown City as well. We made that as well. For people who don't know, we made Shutdown City. We got another film called Lust 4. Obviously the budget, but it's kind of like Saw a little bit. It's a bit like Saw, a different narrative. All right, let's take this call. Yeah, you live on the Express Truth.
Respect, big man. Fam, how many films are they're gonna make, fam? Excuse me. Yeah. How many films are gonna make with just black geezers, blood splattering everywhere, big man? How many films are we gonna watch? It's the same movies over and over again. Always shooting, stabbing, shanking. You get me. Fam, why can't we watch a movie with a man? Why don't we make a movie with a man going to uni, fam, struggling to go to uni, and like struggling to like buy gas and electric or something, fam?
Yeah, or even finishing his course, and
that as well, fam. We watch him struggle through his course. He's probably even selling a couple of drawers. Just normal stuff, fam. They don't show nothing normal or positive, fam. Nothing at all.
You know what it is? It'd be good to pull it out there, you know, but let's be honest, you know, how much people are gonna watch it though, fam?
I'm like,
That's
yeah,
I remember, you know, at the end of the
day.
day, the people who are making these films and putting them out there, they only care about the money, you know. They don't care about our story, fam, or how it affects the community. So if they don't believe it's gonna make a return, they're not gonna invest in it, G.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, fam. You're right on that front. I hear what you're saying, but just at least try, fam. At least try. Man's
Nah,
all
for real.
relate to normal films. A man like just like scrambling his bus fare and stuff. Or he's going to work, or he's got an apprenticeship. Got some kind of positivity. You get what I'm saying, big man?
Yeah, I hear that. It's a good point as well.
There's too much film just shouting, stabbing, shooting. And fam, let me jump off on what your mommy was saying.
Yeah.
She said with the cinema bit, she don't understand why them kids just do at the cinema. Your mommy and my mommy, they don't know the road like that, big man. I'll tell you why them youths are all shanked up and pumped up in heights. Because the super already gassed off Top Boy.
Yeah.
They're already stoked and gassed off that already, probably a little beef or whatever. So they're shanking up, going to that movie pumped, and I'm not being funny, fam. Us as black people, we like really follow. If we see a movie, we're going like try and play out on the road. Man, we hear music on the radio, we'll just bob their heads like back, tune, turn it off. Man are hearing tunes with the shanking and stabbing, and they're going on the road and doing it, fam. Music is entertainment, fam. When that 3-minute song's finished, you turn it off, and you go back to it's back to normal, fam.
Yeah. That's a fact. Dave, what you saying? What you reckon?
Yeah, I think we have to understand that certain vibes, certain beats, certain vibes have an effect on our community. You get me? So as you could play a hip hop song with some wickedness in the bars to an Asian brother, he can look at it and he could say, you know what, I feel the bars, but I don't relate. I still have an uncle who looks like me. We do things like this. We do things like that. You can play that same song to a white brother, and he may feel the most empathy with the artist, but again, he don't relate. You play it to a black brother. The black brother's like, yo, I'm going through this. The brother looks like me. He eats like me. He does everything like me. This is how he's overcome his struggle. That's how I'm going to overcome my struggle. And what we need to understand is that not all these artists, not all these stories are authentic. You understand? So it could just be make believe. You understand? So that's from the films to the music. So when you're in impressionable mind, you have to just take time saying to yourself, is this for real? You understand? Because it is going to affect you, especially being from the black community. It's going to affect you differently. That's why it's pumped to you more than anybody else. You get me?
Yeah. But we just still don't need all you kind of readers, man. We've all got a family member who's locked up. We all know someone who's being stabbed. We all got family issues. We all got family who know bad stuff's going on. We don't need it all over the TV as well. We all got a cousin. My brother's doing 20 right now as we speak.
Now I got a cousin doing 35 right now, man, and it's not a good reality.
We all got it in house, so we don't need it no more on the TV, fam. Because us as blacks, like I said, we see a movie and we want to play it out on the road. It's a movie, fam. Man's mind not be so shallow, you get me? It's a movie, entertainment. When the movie's finished, turn it off and just go back to what you was going back to. You get me? It's the same thing with the music. I'm just saying, though, you get me? We just need to just change. I'm not going to see no blue story. I'm never shouting, stabbing, black girls. Nah, man, I'm tired of seeing that, fam. I'm tired of it. From what? Before belly, fam. And it's still the same shit, fam. Come on, man, let's see a geezer go in college and he doesn't want to get up in the mornings, but he gets up and then at the end of the film he progresses and then he's got a big job. Some positivity.
Man said, yeah, man. Yeah, respect, caller. I hear you. I hear the passion in your voice. See what I'm saying? And it's reality, man. Yeah.
Yeah, respect.
Yeah, man. Respect.
Big up, man.
All right,
we also
people.
need to ask ourselves, though, before you go, brother, we also need to ask ourselves, as consumers, where we're putting our money. You get me? And that's another response. We can't just expect the artists to be responsible and not be responsible ourselves. So as consumers, yeah, you got to ask yourself, if you don't agree with something, where are you putting your money? You understand? And that's the power you have as a person, as an individual. You understand?
Yeah, man. Proper. All right, then, people. That's enough for this week, man. 2 hours, 20 minutes. Wow. All right, then. Yo, we got you, know. We see you.
All right, cool.
See you next week, yeah?
Hold on, fam.
Go on.
I just found something on Insta, fam, before we go in it.
What's that?
Apparently, according to the Independent, I'm going to read it, man. It's like the first page. They're saying Birmingham Star City, 13-year-old among 5 teenagers arrested after machete brawl during Frozen 2 viewing that left officers injured. A 13-year-old girl is among 5 teenagers arrested over mass brawl involving youths armed with machetes at a Birmingham cinema. Families were watching Frozen 2 at Star City when the disorder broke out on late Friday afternoon, sparking a mass evacuation of the complex. Police have arrested 5 teenagers, a 13-year-old girl and boy aged 14, and a 19-year-old man were held on suspicion of assaulting police officers, fam. And I guarantee that if that's true, I guarantee they don't pull Frozen, fam.
You're mad. Who's going to pull Frozen? Disney. Because all Disney would say is pull it and just don't holler at us for Avengers. Don't holler at us for any other of our films. That's suicide, isn't it?
Exactly, fam. But I'm saying if that's true, fam, you see where you add 1 and 1 and get 2, fam.
Exactly.
You add 1 and 1 and get 22, fam. Because what's it got to do with friggin' Blue Story then, blood? They're watching that Elsa and that, fam, and wanted to chop up a geezer, fam. Must have reminded them too much of that Sub-Zero cat, fam.
yeah, man. All right, let's get out of here, man. Yo, follow the Instagram. Everyone like the video before you go, first of all. Follow the Instagram.
Share, subscribe, man.
At Express Truth Show. Follow the Instagram, man. We gotta get some Instagram followers up here, man.
CMark87, man. Superman 91. It's all in the bio, man.
Yeah, man. Check the bio, yeah? All right, we gone.
We out of
Yo,
here,
Big Dave, big up yourself, man.
Big up, Dave.
Yeah,
big up.
Shout.
Y'all listen to the Express Truth Show with my man Mark Hamilton. So stay locked in, is it?
Ha ha! Big Stigs. You're locked into the Express Truth Show, yeah? Keep it locked. Rah!
Yo, squad, is your diva, Riva, Riva. You're locked into Express Truth. The truth can only be one, and one is all. So listen to the truth, understand the truth, and then add your truth.
As you know, the things we discuss on YouTube are heavily censored. So to hear that uncensored stuff, head over to our Patreon channel. Take a look on screen right now to see the type of topics we discuss, the type of live streams, the type of behind the scenes footage. All we ask is a small amount of $1, which is the equivalent of about 75 pence per month, and you get access to all of this content plus many more. So join us right now and listen to over 100 podcasts that have not been released on any other platform other than Patreon. See you soon.